This podcast contains adults using adult language. You have been warned.
Looking back on the past where we still had a chance, we were pawns in a game that we could not win.
Hello.
Oh, hi.
Hi, everybody. It
Sorry.
is Sunday, which means it is time for Vampire the Masquerade. No,
Oh, hey.
that's not right.
Actually, I quit.
I
quit.
don't
have that
I
much.
quit.
Let me just
Nope.
make a character
No? I quit.
No.
real quick.
No, we're gonna play
Gangrel.
we're gonna play Il Nomine. No, not that one.
I know that one.
God damn, I knew. Well, screw it. I think
Shadowrun?
we have to Shadowrun. No.
Pathfinder.
Fate of the Norns?
I'm cool with Pathfinder.
Is it like AD&D? No.
I have
This joke has
ADD.
become tiresome.
Okay, sorry. It's time for Dungeons and Dragons.
Oh.
It's I'm bored. I'm over it.
Sorry.
We're done.
Wow.
Sorry.
Hey, listen, I'm done. No, it is time for Dungeons and Dragons. This is Team X, otherwise known as Team Xenagog, an official franchise of Acquisitions Incorporated, and we play this ridiculous game on Sundays, and we're going to do that today. I am St. Brian, your dungeon master for this evening. These are my friends, and they're going to introduce themselves. And because we have a full complement of players today, we will start in our traditional position of Quadrant 4.
I'm so glad that we're playing again. I missed last week so much. I am Clues playing Dren, my gem weaver, a tinker norm sorcerer that has been on an adventure.
Mm-hmm. Moving along.
Oh, I thought we were getting into this adventure thing. I was piqued.
You have to
I'm
wait.
not supposed to talk about it yet.
Exclamation point.
I am Cynic Gentle Trunk. Or rather, I'm Viking Goat, and I play Cynic Gentle Trunk. Or maybe it's the other way around. I don't know. Friend-shaped nature domain cleric for Volk. Nice person. Yeah, that's me.
You don't ever want to see him angry.
It's generally not a good time for the object of his ire. It's generally just bad. It's a bad time for them.
That's a good point. You know,
It's a bad
that's
time.
bad. Bad time. It's bad time.
Bad time all around. But moving along.
I am Blind Cleric. I am playing Hugon Valander, human battlemaster fighter, and all-around surly grandpa of a human being. It's just how it is.
Well, listen, they
He's
haven't
the
been
grumpy old grandpa.
they haven't been able
Huh?
to pin any kids on you yet.
No, thank Christ for that. I should not be allowed to educate or be around children. I am a bad influence. Parents are bad people for letting me
Be in the
within-
presence.
be in the presence of children. I curse and I drink and I teach them how to kill people. And it's generally just not advisable that I be in charge of children. I'm the worst daycare. Or the best, depending on
Depending on your life goals.
your life goals and your cultural norms.
But moving along.
Hey, everybody. I am Eno, the Tiefling Bard, and I'm also known as Raz or Purple Monkey Robots.
Man, that was like a little NPR right there.
Thank you. Should
Hello,
I go like
everybody.
that?
Hello, everybody.
ASMR the mic.
I'm Raz, otherwise known as Purple Monkey Robots, and today I'll be playing
Yeah.
Eno. Your pledges are welcome, and it helps what keeps us on the air.
Your bits are welcome.
Your bits are welcome. And in fact, your bits are welcome because I'm gonna show you a quick test right now. If you give us bits during the stream, if you give us those kinds of fun cheers, if you subscribe, if you follow, those types of things, hey, what happens? We get this little thing right here, and that was just a test, JD Lady. We did not just take away a quarter of your hit points, but JD Lady is the stream boss right now. Oh, and just refilled her. She just refilled herself. No, you're fine. That was just a test. So JD Lady is the stream boss right now. If you would like to be the stream boss, you have to defeat JD Lady, and you defeat her by depleting her hit points through bits and follows and subscriptions and things of that nature. When we get a new stream boss, when you've defeated the current stream boss, a couple things happen. One, your friends here, your players, and I just realized because I didn't update this. Where is it? I can't find I'm trying to find this. This is what I'm trying to find. Oh no, they all are there, aren't they? Here they are.
What are you trying to find?
I don't know what I'm trying to find. I am out of my mind right now because I can't see. Where is? Jeez. All right. You do in fact have 3 of these things. I don't know where they just disappeared off of your screen, but I don't know. But anyway, I'm sorry. I'm rambling. If you beat the stream boss, the players all get their specials refilled. And they can then, use that special again. But it also means I have to burn one of my Dark Inspiration dice. Now, as you can see, I have 0 of these Dark Inspiration die. I will get Dark Inspiration die as they use their specials. Oh, and by the way, because I'm the Dungeon Master and I get to make decisions like this, they can... Oh, Purple Monkey Robots is now the stream boss.
Dun, dun, dun.
Dun, dun, dun. So, if the players would like, you can also burn one of your specials to take advantage / re-roll one of your D20s.
Interesting.
Yes, but it'll have the same effects. You burn one of your specials. I get Dark Inspiration for that to use as my dark black little heart sees fit, or unless someone becomes the stream boss and then I have to use it.
Can you use the Dark Inspiration to give yourself advantage?
Maybe I can.
Uh-oh.
You'll never know, will you? No, I
mean, it's only fair.
Fair. Who said anything about this being fair? Who said anything about this being fair? Please, this is Dungeons and Dragons. There's nothing fair about this. Anyway,
sometimes.
But that's how that whole thing works. So, at any rate, let us get into this whole D&D thing. Let us do a brief recap so people who are watching can understand what they've dipped their toes into. Mind you, this is the highbrow portion of the show. It only gets worse from here. So a few things happened last week. So a few months have passed since the Battle of Pinedale. Dren, my Gemweaver, had taken a little journey. Left a little note for everyone. Taking a little journey to go get parts. Right? I think she left a note saying she had to get parts for Razi.
I left a note.
Yeah, and a jelly donut.
Yeah,
partially
donut
eaten.
on top.
Partially eaten. And that's where she was. Eno, over the course of several months, had completed a project, which we'll talk about later because it's going to be a bit of a surprise. But he did learn that Drenmai booby traps her workshop when she's not there. He learned when he got sprayed with the hot sauce. He learned when he found when he did not, at least he thought he did not trigger any of the random pressure plates within the shop itself. He learned that one of them, in fact, activated a spring-loaded boxing glove that punched him in the head. We learned things.
It happened.
It happened. And we laughed. Most of us laughed. Hugon, who has, as part of his deal that he made with the town council, as part of all the different contract negotiations and everything, had been able to work his way onto the town council, and also led a negotiation of sorts.
A negotiation which basically boiled down here: get out of my town, go back to your town, and quit being a prick, or I'm going to kill you.
It pretty much. He had a because even though trade has started to be resumed with Elboulder, it was kind of bottlenecking due to the interference of the Brotherhood of the Sun, otherwise known as the Red Bands, who our team, well, 75% of our team ran into during the very first session we ever played, of basically a pro-human group, we'll say. And
I wouldn't say that. I'd go human supremacist. I mean, pro is kind of
a humanocentric
yeah
political body.
Yes. By the meeting,
who will be killed if they do not shape up. I want to be clear. I'm going to send my spies, and they're going to kill them.
Well, we had a very interesting negotiation where Eno and Thunk participated, and Thunk misconstrued something and pretended to strangle him. Threatened him that way. There was lots of intimidation checks that were very, very successful, that were stacking on top of each other. There was a zone of truth in there.
It's true.
Things happened. They found other infiltrators trying to spread propaganda and also trying to spring Lord Zedram Kai from the cells below the keep. Yeah. And these things happened. And then, after all this, it was time for a meal. Because this is what we do in this show.
Mm-hmm.
Eno and Thunk went to grab a bite to eat. A little bite to eat.
Oh, that's right.
Where they ordered most of everything on the menu. They discovered that this place, while not officially themed or anything like that, does have items on the menu named after some local celebrities that belong perhaps to a particular franchise of...
that we are not getting royalties for.
No royalties were. But we said the Thunk was not only they have the Thunk platter, right? Which is everything. But there's also, you can order things like small, medium, large, extra large Thunk. If you want to get the big bowl. There was a Hugon Valander sandwich. What did we say the Eno was? Now I can't remember what we said the Eno was.
I thought the Eno was a drink.
Maybe.
We actually in Table Talk we did.
Oh, that's right.
We did name the darkest stout that Eno had ordered at this place, at the Knight's Ferry, this particular eatery, that was flavored with, as we discussed, cacao nibs, coffee beans, hot pepper, a breath of cinnamon, and it was named Chad Flexington's Dark Yum Yum Ale.
Chad Flexington, yes.
And it's on brand because it's not an ale, but it's brand that it would be called an ale.
It's an ale for a species with a +2 Constitution modifier in innate.
It was
for everybody else. It's like an imperial stout.
I've got a +2.
We Thunk established D&D parkour for the Potato Scouts.
Yes.
And he is now the Spud Lord.
He is the Spud Lord Thunk.
And the D&D parkour is also known as Spud Running.
Spud Running. We established that the Outcome Management Solutions, which was the internship program, had its first group of graduates. They finished the Personal Excellence track, PET1, PET1, and now are considered SSPIs, which are Sub-Specialist Proto-Interns Level 1, or Spy 1s. Spies, for short. Tadell Swift has gotten even more badass. And there's the whole thing where Eno's friend Alexi, the monk that he was supposed to meet and went missing, showed up wandering down from the mountain path in coming into town, seeming a little out of sorts.
A little
out of sorts. And that is where we left things last week. So now we need to we need to rewind the clock a little bit here.
Oh.
Let's turn back the clock to when Drenmai decided that there was time she needed to get parts. So Drenmai, what precipitated this trip? What precipitated this need to journey?
Well, Razi's been kind of not as lively, and He's kind of gotten some rust-bit parts from our wonderful adventuring into poop-filled lands and such various things. So he's needed some upgrades.
Some upgrades. He's been feeling a little salty lately.
Yeah, he's been salty. He's been pooped on. He's just not happy.
That's
He's
true.
Not as lively.
He flew into it. He flew into a cesspit, quite literally a cesspit.
Did. And it was gross.
It was, and he shared his opinions on that with you multiple times.
He's been vocal with it. I blame Hugon.
I do not accept your blame, but I do expect it, given that you are incapable of taking responsibility for your own actions.
Pretty much.
I mean, Drenmai is not.
Yes. You gotta...
Sure about that?
Let's be clear about the delineation of reality versus fiction here.
In truth, Blind Cleric and Clues, lots of love. Hugon and Drenmai,
None.
Oh,
not so much.
A negative integer of love.
Yeah.
But it turns out
I
they can.
hate Drenmai so much as through Hugon Valander.
But they also make a very destructive pairing. So there's got to be there is some like mutual respect of like there's like that moment of like, where it's almost like if we're gonna go into pop culture here. It's like if Hugon were just if we're gonna like Game of Thrones, it's like Hugon when he unleashes Dren. It's like Daenerys going Dracarys, just unleashing. It's just like it's time
except that Hugon is the Hound, and he's constantly berating and swearing at a dragon, and the dragon just is sort of directing its ire elsewhere.
True.
There's not really a team effort happening. It's just a lot of swearing.
It's a lot of
if
acceptance.
corporate would let me assassinate you, I would do it.
Yeah.
But the paperwork alone.
I mean, you're tight with Omen. That's just basically the only
Exactly.
only reason you're still alive.
I've got friends in low places. That whatever that saying
I need
goes.
to make friends with a god and have them smite you.
Yeah.
That's right. Last week there was a little dream that Thunk had.
Oh, right.
He had a little dream about
That's
a
right.
pond and some things and his versions of his different aspects of his deities were playing around and there was a wasp. A wasp
Yes.
like thing floating around just
Angry.
out of the corner.
Angry asshole wasp.
Yeah. But Drenmai, so you decided that you had to take a little trip. So you left yourself a note, or you left them a note. You left
Yes.
and packed your things.
Yes. Forgot to turn off the booby traps.
Well, or did you turn them on because it's like, okay, I'm leaving for a while. You don't want, there's people that might try to steal some trade secrets in here.
Exactly. I should have, but I left the note in a place where there are booby traps. So
Well,
maybe not.
there's valuable IP there
Yes.
that you just don't want people walking in and be like, oh, and misappropriating, the stuff that your experiments.
I'm glad that I learned what those booby traps were and where they were.
Okay, so where is it? Describe to the people that are here in your group, but also to the people who might be playing at home. Where is it that Drenmai is off to?
Okay, so now I have to pull it up. So I sent you all this information. So
You did, and I can bring it up
I'm heading. Well, I've got it
because with Discord it couldn't be easier.
Yeah, the Deepwing Mountains is where I have to kind of go to. So basically, it's a little northeast
Northwest
of us. Northwest of us?
Yeah. So if you traveled out to
that
the
way.
edge of the Chondalwood and you get out to the Villain Reach, and then you'd be able to go from there.
Yeah, so
I
I
think I
have
know
to
where you're at
venture
now.
that way. Yeah, it's basically right across the waterway, and then to the left.
Yeah, it's a few. It's
Take a left at
to the
Albuquerque.
left. Yes, exactly.
It's like
And,
southwest of Cormier, isn't it?
Let's see.
Or is it south by southwest?
So
yeah.
you know where Cirque is, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's where Deepwing Mountains are.
Okay, yeah. In the realms that are actually forgotten because all adventures take place on the Sword fucking coast.
dude. This is why this is why do you think we're playing down here?
I
When
know,
No one
I'm
else.
just-
We have an empty slate, and we can destroy it any way that we want.
I'm bitter. I'm bitter. Please excuse me. I'm bitter.
No, don't. Well, you can be bitter about that, but this is the upside to it, right? Because guess what? Hey, Perkins, we're redoing the canon. So,
Exactly.
and you too, Kate. Anyways,
6th edition.
Oh.
we're writing this chapter.
Oh, it looks like I've just got an email. Apparently, cease and desist.
No cease and desist. No. Because guess what? We're writing the source book coming out in 2020, man. So
No,
anyway,
we fucking aren't. Don't tell people that.
God.
I am not a part of this. I am not affiliated with
Yeah.
the words that are being said currently on this show.
Maybe they meant to type D&D and not C&D.
Oh, it's possible. But moving forward.
moving forward.
Moving
so,
forward, that's where I traveled off.
Yeah.
to.
So after it was pretty. This is a trip you've made before, and as we've established
yeah.
before, Drenmai being very small and very sneaky, and knowing some of the secret ways that she's able to traverse the Chondalwood relatively unmolested. But it sounds dangerous, but then again, she is very small. So to use an old adage. So it's a relatively uneventful journey, and I think the way that Drenmai would probably take would not necessarily go through El Boulder.
No, I don't think I would go through El Boulder. I think if I had to take like my ideal route, I'd get to like Erebar, and I'd take a boat to Cirque,
Erebor,
and then
I'm
I'd
looking-
travel up. Erebar is just northwest.
I see it. I have.
Chondath.
I have that. I have the map that you sent me because when we were first talking about it, I was like, I can't find the Deep Wing Mountains anywhere.
Where is it? It's right here, Brian.
I know it was.
On this enormous atlas.
Yeah.
It's this little mountain range. Like where?
Yeah, it's this tiny little. It's like, yeah, it's tiny, I guess.
And then so this is something that you and I were discussing before, but I don't think we ever determined. Was this where you had to go to Cirque, or was it where you had to actually venture deep into the mountains, or it was like you stop off at Cirque and then?
Yeah, I had to stop it
Mhm.
to get some of the metal components, and then I had to venture to get some of the organic.
Okay. So
Organic. Okay, we're crossing into territory that is becoming swiftly concerning
Listen.
and uncomfortable.
we're approaching Halloween, and this is the content you've all wanted.
Yeah, I think perhaps necromancy was involved, wasn't
Yeah,
it?
we're about to start scratching some itches you didn't know you had.
I don't know.
So when you
Now
arrive,
the question is, does Hugon hate this or does Gideon hate this?
Hugon hates it when he's going to find out about it.
Probably.
So when you arrive in Cirque, as we know, as we've established, Cirque is largely, I think we've said, populated by the lizard folk. Correct?
Yep.
And
Yeah, they're like lizard folk, and the king, he's a barbarian, if I remember right.
mhm.
Yeah,
And so
we're
upon arrival in this little lizard folk town / city, it's difficult to say with lizard folk because things aren't as necessarily as organized. The city is built very much to purpose, but not like purpose like, oh, let's plan this out. It was more like, hey, we need a building, go build a building. So much like London in inner city, where all the roads eventually intersect each other, maybe even themselves. But usually this would be not a good place for most people to go. Because when
No.
you do arrive there, there is like there's the harbor, and there is a little bit of a wall where people that are starting, that's where you're going to find like your all the different races and species congregating out there. Most creatures are not allowed past that wall because the lizard folk don't want you in there. For two reasons. One, they're just kind of secretive and they like to have their shit belong to themselves. They don't want to share necessarily all that. But two, there's always the issue of too many people were walking through the city at one point and got mistaken for food, because lizard folk pretty much look at everything that way. You're either food or not food. And if you're hungry enough as a lizard folk, a lot more things start to become food. And they started losing more merchants that way, more traders that way, diplomatic issues. Every now and again, an ambassador would have a finger gnawed on. You know, you had to find a way to curtail this. So they built this little wall. But Drenmai, as you approach the gate that goes in, the lizard guard that's standing guard there with his leather armor, and do a perception check real quick, though.
Perception. I'm gonna use my new dice.
New dice.
New dice. Yay.
New dice. Who dis?
Yay.
Yeah, that's 6.
A 6. Okay. Well, you notice that it's leather armor. He's holding
It's
a trident.
leather.
He's holding a
Okay.
trident, and he's a lizard. So generally speaking, the way I envision it is they have the shirt but no pants. They're doing the Daffy Duck or the Donald Duck
Daffy
thing.
Duck.
Porky Pig.
Donald.
They're Porky Pig. Yeah, they're Porky Pigging it, you know. And as you come walking by, initially he starts to lower the trident and you hear like this growling hiss like deep within his throat, but then he sees you and quickly snaps to attention, and the trident, you know, boom, and he like opens the door to allow you in. And as you enter in, you enter into like this little like town square type opening right at the
I'll
entrance.
smile at him and I'll hand him an egg.
What kind of egg are you handing him?
Let's see. What would I?
Is it like a fresh egg, a pickled egg?
Yeah, like a
a
chicken egg.
a millennium
no, just
egg?
Like a chicken egg. I'd have a. If they have like, they generally have like chickens and stuff like that. So I'd probably just give him a chicken egg.
Okay.
But it'd be a boiled chicken egg. So
Oh.
it'd be peeled.
He so you stop and you hand this to him, and it's like the cap comes off and there's a bow, and he's just like he's speaking to you in Draconic, saying, he's like, "Oh, thank you. You've bestowed upon me this gift. Thank you so much. Thank you."
I don't like it when people are this way around Dren.
And Dren, you go.
You feel a great sense of concern from far away.
Uh-huh.
Dren, you enter into the town as you have many times before. You go walking past the Dren statue. You go through the town. You go to several of your metallurgy people. You have your people that you do your shopping with.
Point of order. Dren statue?
Yeah, there's a Dren statue there. Crudely
No,
made.
I don't like.
Crudely
any of
made. It's
this.
not like
Hugon would hate this.
it's not like anything like great work of art.
No.
But you go
This-
walking by, and it's obviously Dren. It's a large statue of Dren, which is to say it's about human sized. And it's
Yeah,
a very
it's
heroic.
heavy.
It's a heroic pose. It's like her, hand on the hip, foot up on a rock, her like gesturing up to the mountains. Razi, like a little Razi on her. Yeah, it's basically that with the staff, the little Razi on her shoulder.
I don't like it.
And the little
I don't like it.
There's a little historical marker right in front of it.
There's a black cloud appearing off in the distance that you can see.
This town must be destroyed.
It doesn't
Long
thunder so
black
much as
cloud
a
is
rumble.
coming down. Feels like Hugon's pissed.
Terms of service. Terms of service.
No, it's parody. It's fair use. What parts? What metal parts? What metallurgy do you require, Miss Gemweaver?
I'll be looking. Probably, I'll be needing like necessities, like a few of the gears and bits and stuff. But I'll
Mhm.
probably get like a few extras, maybe some bolts and enchanted plate, metal plate.
Okay, so there's like a very specific vendor you need to go to.
Mm-hmm.
That because this is the lizard folk that has what you need. I mean, there's not a lot to really buy here. Generally speaking, in Sir, but when you have the one, and this is like the one.
I have my one friend.
Your one friend
that I
who
know
has.
does the thing.
He's a little bit higher up on the on the food chain, literally and figuratively, for Cirque. He's traveled a little bit, so he knows where to get things. Maybe things that you couldn't get elsewhere. Not black market, more gray market type things. And he greets you when you come in, and there's the same genuflecting, but less than what the guard was. It's that he seems to be slightly less impressed. But he's a little bit more traveled than these savages. Yeah. And so let's do another. So you start giving your list, and he starts pulling parts. When he starts bringing out like boxes of the different items, and he's pulling out like the different gears of the different gauges that you're looking for, and you're like checking to make sure it's the exact right gauge, and it has to be the right tooth count too, right? You can't. Yep. You can't mess that up if the ratio is off.
Cracked out Razi because he's spinning too fast.
Or too slow.
Or too slow.
Because then there's just too much torque.
Yep.
And you don't want a torqued up Razi.
No.
So, but let's. I would imagine, and tell me if this would be true or not. Would Drenmai go rummaging around as well as he?
100%.
So let's do another perception check here.
Okay. Let's do it better this time. 12.
You're able to find a few extra gears that look like they're so you what was there a particular metal you were looking for?
No, because he's kind of a mishmash.
Okay.
So basically, because it's awfully specific. So just whatever somebody would have.
So you found actually down in the bottom of this, you found some of the gears of the proper ratio. You found, we'll call it 3 gears of the proper tooth count and ratio and size.
Okay.
That are actually made of, it looks like a very high quality titanium.
Ooh, yeah.
So much lighter. Little things. Yeah. Little things.
Let's pause for just a second. You distinctly used the word savages. How do they have titanium machining capability?
I'm so glad you asked. They don't.
Okay.
Because you see it does have a water deep stamp on it.
Oh, all right.
So
I was like, what?
No, you're fine.
Okay.
It's fine. They're able to do basic smithing there. Okay. Because they make the weapons and all that. I mean, these are intelligent creatures, but you're right. Do they have the ability to probably smelt and do all this? There might be one, maybe, but not this kind of fine work. But this particular lizard folk that she is dealing with happens to be a merchant, and he travels and he kind of knows where to get the.
Gotcha.
He knows where to get the goods. So,
Lord help everyone.
Lizard folk with advanced technology. Oh God! And now
no. Hold on, lizard folk are fine.
It's now everything's food.
It's the fact that Dren has access to titanium. That is the problem. I could give, the lizard folk are fine. Let them be themselves. Let them do their thing.
You do you.
Totally okay.
I posit that titanium is not a big deal in D&D, considering that you can have all sorts of other stuff that's basically.
I mean, that's true, but it's still like.
It's the principle.
I don't like it.
He's gotten comfortable with the fact that Dren has never upgraded from leather armor. Technically, I probably could go making, better stuff, but I've had nothing but leather armor.
But you think you might be able to shave a few grams off of Razi this way. And, lighter is better, right? He flies.
Oh, yeah.
He's faster.
He flies. Lighter is always better, and he'll be happy.
Yes. You also find one very small... I'd say so if you were human-sized, about this big, about the size of a penny.
Okay.
Very small, imperfect, not perfect, imperfect ruby.
Ooh. Are these things to buy or?
They are things to buy. This is in the
Can I steal this? No,
Can
you
I
have to
steal
buy it. Oh, damn it.
I'm so glad that Gideon knew where Dren's mind was.
Why did you ask me if you could steal it? What the hell is wrong with you?
No, you cannot.
I am super stealthy, but no, this is probably someone that I've done business with.
Yeah,
before,
it's
so
usually not good to steal from your regular vendors. They tend to frown upon that. But he says he could probably let it go for 5 gold.
Okay.
Because he looks
And
at it.
then
He
how
brings
much-
out his little what's that called? Not the
Monocular.
the jeweler's
Jeweler's glass.
Oh, it's a
Monocle?
microscope.
not microscope. What is it? It's loop. The loop, right?
Oh,
Oh.
The
yeah.
looking at
The
it.
loop.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's called a loop. Yeah, that little monocle
Ah,
thing is called a.
Cool. I did not know that was what it was called.
Yeah, it's called a jeweler's loop, and he
Neat.
brings it out and he looks at it and he goes and he assesses it and he points out all the flaws in it. It's definitely not. It wasn't well cut. It's got a little inclusions and all that. All the
I'm fine with
Tosses it
that.
back in the bargain bin.
yeah.
I'd be like, well, if it's so damaged, then 3 gold.
Persuasion check.
Haggle.
Hey,
What?
haggling is fine.
Haggling.
13.
13. He agrees. He acquiesces. He acquiesces.
I'll do that thing where like I'll take it from him and I'll bring my own goggles down and do the ting 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 ting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I see what you're talking about here. This isn't quite. And then
Comparing.
Yeah. mine's bigger than yours.
It's like, it's like a. Oh, I have 12x zoom. What do you have? 4? Pff, 12.
4. Oh.
Sure.
Oh. 4 times magnification. Cute.
That's cute. I remember
Yeah,
when I was at 4x.
cute.
How quaint.
There's a scene in Whiplash, which is an amazing movie where oh crap, what's the actor's name? Played J. Jonah Jameson.
Oh.
Why am I drawing a blank on his name? He did the voice of one of the voices in Portal 2. But anyway,
Is that the
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
J. Jonah Jameson? Is that the guy from the insurance commercials now?
Yep.
Yes.
From that, from Oz, from Law and Order SVU. I just can't remember the actor's name right now.
J.K. Simmons.
J.K. Simmons. Thank you. Yeah. And there's a scene where he like comes in, he's looking, he like goes into the one classroom, he's looking at the music playing, he goes, cute, and he like, so I can just imagine Dren like, yeah, that's cute. Let me, zooming in. So all in all, you think with all of the parts and metal pieces and raw metal materials, inorganic materials, he initially quotes you a price of 50 gold for all in for everything that you've been looking for.
Well, I don't want the inorganic materials from him. I
No.
just want
This is
metal
all the
shit.
this is all the metal.
Okay.
All the inorganic
Okay.
stuffs.
Let's see. Okay, that's actually fair.
Okay.
I'll get my little coin purse out and I'll count it out and think, 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 think.
And he asks, he's like, should we package this now, or are you heading up into the mountains?
You know me. I've got to head to the mountains first, so just
Shall
save
I-
it for me when I
I'll
get
hold
back.
it for you here. It'll be ready when you return. If
Fair enough.
you return.
I will return. I always do.
And there's a
At all.
slight disappointment, but not really. Kind of like, oh, maybe I
Oh,
finally
yeah.
got. This is why he always has you pay up front, though.
Uh huh.
So,
Yeah, I'm fine with it.
so now,
And I'll trot out the store.
you have to head up into the mountains.
I do.
What do you need from the mountains,
Well-
Drenmai?
I gotta find a cave
Mm-hmm.
because I gotta find a dragon.
Mm-hmm.
I gotta make a friend.
And you happen to
Dude,
know of
shit.
one.
Like making a friend or like making a friend?
Make a friend.
Okay.
You act
I've
like they're
already
two
made a
separate
friend.
things.
I don't like that Dren is dealing with dragons now. I am disappointed
Hugon just
that,
hates all of this.
that you are allowing this, Brian. I'm disappointed. Your
I have
negligence is creating situations wherein,
I am derelict in my
Dren
duty
has- yeah,
as dungeon
Dren
master
has-
of this game.
Firstly, Dren should never have friends, ever.
Is that what the D&D stands for? Dereliction of duty?
Yep.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
basically.
Oh.
In Hugon's mind, it does.
But yeah, this
Hugon
Will
hates
Ferrell
all
would
of
be
it.
screaming derelict at this.
Derelict. I feel like I'm in Crazy Town. It's the same look. You do happen to know of a particular cave that has the dragon you're looking for.
Of the copper persuasion.
Of the copper persuasion.
Mhm.
You've been able to sneak in a few times when he was not present.
Yes.
But the rumors around town as you were walking through, everyone genuflecting, the moments everyone trying to offer you drinks and foods as you walk by, the rumor has it that the dragon is home this time.
Friend's home, so that means I have to do a snack.
You have to do a snack.
Okay.
So you travel. It's probably about a day's journey up to this cave, where this copper dragon resides.
Okay.
Yeah. Again, relatively uneventful. Upon learning of your journey, you think some of the lizard folk might have cleared the way for you, just to
Mm-hmm.
made sure that it was as clear as they can make it for you. And every time there's always like in Draconic, they're always responding. It's always like the salute of for deeds of the past, for deeds of the past, and like.
I make a mental note to take Hugon here one day.
No, don't.
Field trip.
Field trip.
I think Hugon would rather not slip backward into his old life.
Can I see or sense or feel the presence of the copper dragon anywhere?
That would require a perception check.
Okay. 17.
So as you start to approach, you start to notice subtle changes to the environment. You start seeing this dragon's smiling face carved into rocks and into trees. And it's not an entirely unpleasant smile. It's not a cruel smile by any stretch of the imagination. And as far as a presence,
Yeah, I want to look for like footprints or just anything that I see of if he might be.
You see the thinnest wisp of smoke coming from this little like fissure in the side of the mountain further up where this dragon makes his lair. So you get the impression that he might be home. You see that a lot of the like squirrels and birds are watching you.
Okay.
As you walk, as you're coming by.
I want to make my way to the fissure, but I want to kind of like peek in or see if there's any other like entrance way, like if I might kind of skirt around.
Are you trying to sneak up to the entrance to begin with?
Do I hear any, like the closer do I get, do I hear any movement?
You don't hear any movement, but you are finding yourself prone. You find yourself giggling and you don't know why.
Okay.
Like these like unbidden like fits of giggling are approaching, are bubbling up, and you're trying to stifle it, which would mean that your stealth would be at disadvantage.
Okay.
Because the entire time you're sneaking, the whole time it's like. For some reason, this is all very funny to you. You don't know why.
You're thinking about the word pants and how silly it is.
Pants.
Pants. Sorry.
No, don't ever apologize for that. That's funny as hell.
Let's see.
No, I'm thinking about that. That's funny.
It is. It's pretty fucking funny, isn't it? It's a silly word. Pants. Sorry, that's what Dren's thinking right now, not me.
Yeah, I guess. Well, let's see. If I start noticing some ill effects, then yeah, I'll try and be sneaky, and I'll try and see if I can find something to get into the area.
Let us get us a sneak check.
Okay. I do a snack.
A snack.
At disadvantage.
At disadvantage.
That's a jack die. Oh, I don't even need to take disadvantage. Oh, yes, I do!
What did you do?
Roll natural 20.
You got a
And I
2
rolled a 1.
and a 1.
You suck.
So I start really loud.
Pants.
Yeah, you just-
Sorry.
And you hear a rumble from within this fissure, which as you approach becomes larger and larger, and this enormous ancient copper dragon peeks its head around the corner and locks eyes on you.
Do I feel that it's friendly, or is he pissed off at me?
He seems to be smiling.
Okay.
And he looks and he's like, "Well, hello, little friend."
I'm assuming he's speaking Draconic.
He is, yes, he is
Okay.
speaking Draconic.
I'll reply in kind and Draconic. Greetings, friend.
What brings you to my lair?
Hopefully, I didn't mean to disturb you, but I'm in need of maybe just a few things that you won't need so much anymore.
Well, step in and we can have a conversation. It's fine.
Yeah, I'll go in. I've been here before, just not when you're here. I don't say that out loud.
Except that you almost do. Like, oh fuck, shouldn't have said that.
And as you walk in, you take about 3 steps and you fall, basically you trip over face first and land in a thing of mud.
Okay.
Like that,
fine with
like
it.
real, like almost like pudding consistency, and it had like a layer of dust over it, so it looked exactly like the rest of the floor. And it's just, boom, like face first. Half of Dren, the front half is just brown,
Oh, okay.
and the rest of you is clean.
That's fine.
And but as you do that, the ancient dragon starts giggling to himself.
But like not in like a cool way, I trust. Like probably in like a and acid just kind of drips from his
Little
mouth.
bit.
There's like little perfectly gouged like bowl-shaped depressions
Mhm.
in the stone where his like probably horrifically dangerous acid is just kind of like made like little depressions.
And he says, "I am sorry, little one, but I so enjoy it when people do that. Come, no harm intended. How can I help you? What is it you are looking for?"
Just for fun, and because it doesn't bother me at all,
Mhm.
I'll intentionally get up. I'll do that wipe down the front,
Yeah.
and then I'll do the overly dramatic cartoonish, like I'm going to step forward, and then I'll fall back and I'll slip and I'll get the other half.
Oh, he laughs even harder at that. This is like
This is quality content.
watching
Exactly.
this is what happens when you see grown men watching the Three Stooges. It's
Exactly.
It's never not funny.
You're laughing so hard that you're spilling your beer.
Yeah, the little bit more spittle. The walls get a little bit more etched. He's like kind of like holding his stomach a little bit. He found that very, very funny.
Copper dragon spit takes are lethal.
Yeah.
Oh shit! I've killed the audience again. Oh,
Well, this is why it
My
costs extra
bad.
to sit in the splash zone, in the
Right.
front. You know. Like,
Exactly. So I'll get up and I'll get a little closer in
Mhm.
to where he is. Hmm. I want to look around. Do I see anything laying on the ground that might be dragon discarded things?
Um,
Just dragon adjacent things.
perception check.
9?
No, you don't really see much of anything.
Okay. So I'll kind of look at him and be like, now, let's see. He hasn't met me before because I've always done this when he's not there. And I don't have Razi with me.
Oh, you didn't
Do I see
bring
any
you didn't bring Razi with you?
No.
Hey, I'm shopping for the shit that I'm gonna attach to you later. Can I? You want to come with me? What? No. The hell? You fucking deviant.
Do I see any other creatures like anywhere?
Not
Flying, crawling, otherwise bugs,
No.
anything?
no, not really.
Okay.
It's a clean, it's a nicely kept lair.
Okay.
You might see it on, the new TLC show, Dragon Lairs. It's probably hosted by the Property Brothers, one of them, because they're
Okay.
everywhere.
For
some reason, Giada De Laurentiis is in there. You're not sure why. No, it's clean. You don't really see much of anything in the way of other little creatures.
So then I'm gonna look at him and be like, I'm technically not here for me. I'm here for a friend. And I want to cast Prestidigitation, and I want to create an image of Razi, like a smaller version of him, in my hand. And
so when you do that, you do your little boom, and there's the little hologram.
Yeah. I just want to make a little Razi in my hand.
And he, the head comes down and gets in real close, and you can feel the hot breath from his nostrils, and his eyes are just locking on this image, and he's very interested. And he, so you have to understand the size differential here, okay? Because ancient copper dragons are gargantuan.
Yes.
And Drenmai is
I
not.
am small.
You're probably the size of one of his teeth, not even one of his big teeth.
Yeah.
Right.
I was thinking nostril size.
You could probably fit up there and take a nap, if need be, and it wouldn't be uncomfortable.
Yeah.
So this copper dragon is one size category smaller than Smaug.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
And Smaug is not a big dragon
Mm-mm.
in Lord of the Rings.
So yeah,
nice. I like it. So he big.
He big.
Very
he
big
boy.
And he comes in, and you can see he gets right in there, gets the snoot right in there, and he's looking. He goes, "What is this?"
Ooh, that's a tough one. This is my friend. His name is Roslyn, and you could say you're related, but not directly. So he kind of needs your help. I'm trying to sell this. It's only just a few things. Just maybe a few scales, a tooth, a little bit of blood, and then that's all I need.
A little bit of blood. What?
And that last one, the eyes sort of flick over to you. My blood?
Just the smallest.
What have you done, little one?
He's.
Sorry.
Go ahead. What you want to say?
No, I'm laughing because I'm picturing the eyes going from round to what
slivers.
the fuck?
Yeah.
There's
What
a
did
certain
you
amount
just
of
say to me?
focus.
Yeah.
What did you just say? Yeah.
Yeah. The part that gives him his life, and I won't say how I've gotten it in the past, but is is your life source. There's a certain magical component and things that go on with dragon's blood and your guys' scales and, you know, the teeth, but mainly the blood. The blood's the important part. It's just, you wouldn't even notice. It's like this much.
You wouldn't even notice it. It's fine.
Except for, you know, the part on how you have to get it. It's not exactly the easiest thing to make a dragon bleed.
You are asking a lot.
I know. Is there anything I can do for you?
Negotiation.
I wouldn't just come here and ask without being prepared to accept that you would want something in return for the services.
Certainly not for what you are asking for.
Indeed.
Um,
Hugon's gonna be so pissed about learning about a blood oath pact that I'm making with the dragon.
I hope he fucking eats you, so I don't really care.
he says,
Let's be honest here. This is very close to ending the way that Hugon would like.
Yep.
And first he says, for each of these items, I would require something in return.
What would they be?
For the scale, I could provide that.
I don't even need a fresh one. I can get one of the things over there. If I, like, point in a direction and hopefully there's, like, shaving somewhere.
Within 1 year, I would like to meet your friend.
Which friend? Oh, Razi. Okay. I can
Do you find that amenable?
That I can do. I instantly thought of Hugon. I was like, no.
Yeah. The Hugon appears on the shoulder and just goes, no.
Well, let's be fair. We're not friends, so she wouldn't even begin to think that, I hope.
For the tooth, I would need to know your true name.
Ooh.
Okay. Does he want it now or in a year?
Now would be preferable. You might not be around a year from now.
Fuck. Now I have to find what my middle name is. I'm looking where I put it. I hate reading. Okay, I'll agree to it.
Mm-hmm.
And be like, and for fourth blood? Question mark?
I would require a favor at a future date.
Oh boy. Blank check.
Yeah.
Okay. I think I've almost found where I
We have to go back into the lore on this one.
we have to go deep.
There's well over 36 hours of content you have to scroll through to find out, you know.
Okay, there we go.
Control F. Control F.
Because I haven't ever said my.
It's not indexed. Fuck.
Yeah. I forgot how he spelled it.
Yeah, I wanted to make sure I have because I know I had it here somewhere. So I don't like giving my actual name to a dragon. Okay, so my full name.
That's not what he said.
That is true.
He said true name.
Which, if we go deep into the lore, true name is not just the words that make up your name. It also involves the subtle intonations of how you say it.
And also is uniquely linked to every individual.
Mm-hmm.
Every individual has a unique true name.
Mm-hmm.
And in knowing a true name, you actually have a measure of power over someone.
Yeah.
The only problem is most people don't know their true names.
Mm-hmm.
But Dren almost certainly does.
I'm old.
You old and sassy.
I hate it.
Yeah. This is what your deal hath wrought.
Are these terms amenable?
They are. I hate it. I hate all of it. Because I don't think he cares about like my clan and stuff or where I come from on that. Okay, well, I'll throw in that like bit just in case. So I will tell him my full name
Mm-hmm.
being Dren my Kosmima Gemweaver the Tinkerer from the Nolan car.
And he, in this deep rumble, as quietly as an ancient copper dragon can speak, still causes vibrations in the rocks, and he repeats it after you. And as you do that, you feel this vibration, and you're not sure if it's from just the sound waves of his voice, the low frequency of the voice, or if it is something deeper than that. But with that, he nods, and so with the scale, he actually plucks off a excuse me, he plucks off one of his scales, like one of the not so important ones, like under the armpit, you know,
Something I can carry.
something you can carry. Yeah, he gets a small one, and it's still pretty big. I mean, it's about the size of a dinner plate. You know,
Yeah.
I mean, so it's still for Dren, it's still, you know, a big size. So he hands it over to you, and then he goes, do you have a receptacle for the blood?
Oh yeah, I'll bring out a vial.
And
For me, it's like the size of like, I don't know.
And for this, he looks at you and he starts to reach up to get a tooth, but then he realizes that his tooth is going to be enormous, as big as you. And in like an instant, it's not even like a blink. It's like one moment he's this ancient dragon, the next moment he is this older looking wizened man standing in front of you with like greenish yellow hair, deep smile lines around his eyes. This is a face that is accustomed to smiling and laughing. And he says to you, it might be easier for you to carry it this way. And he reaches up, and with that cracking, like kind of like sucking noise, yanks one of his teeth out.
Ah.
And he hands it to you, and with it he puts it into the vial, and with it is some blood that comes with it because, you know,
Yeah.
you're just gonna
Oh
yank
yeah,
a tooth
it's all
out.
connected.
And then instant later he's back to
I'm
being
like all up in his grill with like the vial.
and as you do that, like, so you're there, and then the next thing you know, you're like hanging up like this as he's back to being in his dragon form. And and he like kind of like gently, he puts the big claw there and gets you into his hand. And there's this moment of like that you have of like both awe of like, oh my god, look how big this thing is. You really get a feeling of how large, and also terror of, I hope to God he does not decide just to squish me. And he very gently puts you down, and he says, remember our deal, Miss Gemweaver.
Yeah, I'm gonna make notes now so I don't forget. Yeah, bring Razi. Oh, favor.
And he says, well, if that concludes our business.
I do appreciate it, and I will be back probably sooner rather than later to show you my little friend.
I look forward to it.
And I'll do that thing where it's like super straight spine, shaking slightly, walking away. I'll cast spider climb on myself, and I'm just gonna start walking and then just walk up.
And I'm out of here. And
all right, I'm out.
Peace.
So excuse me. So you make your way back down. It's another day's travel to get back down into Cirque. You go and pick up your goods at the at your merchant.
We're like, oh fucker, I lived.
Perhaps next time, Miss Gemweaver.
Oh, there's always a next time.
I do look forward to seeing you again. The town has approached me. They would hope that you would be able to stay for longer next time so they could feast appropriately.
I'll tell you what, I will come back with a few of my friends, and they would love to have a feast.
Oh, you should bring them back for Dren my day.
I will very much. When is that again?
I don't know. They haven't decided yet. It changes every year.
Okay. Send me a message.
I will send you a note for when the next Dren's Day will be.
And I'll grab my stuff and I'll put it in my little endless pocket and I'll head back to the boat.
You head back to the boat, and as you get near your boat, you see this human female standing by the boat that you've chartered to head back home, wearing the Acquisitions Incorporated livery. She's got her hair like kind of pulled up in a messy bun. Blonde hair. Looks like there might be a few pencils. She has very thick hair. And looks like there's a few pencils stuck in there, like that are holding the bun in place. And there might actually be a couple pencils that she forgot were up there. And thick spectacles. Younger, you would put her... It's always difficult for you to kind of judge how old a human is. Because you're used to living centuries.
Yeah, they all look the same.
And she's holding like this big, thick portfolio that looks like, there's like pieces of like vellum and parchment that are kind of like falling out of it, and she's like holding on to it, and she's like looking around, like a combination of anxious and nervous, and she's looking around and she sees you. She goes, "Oh, are you Dren my Gemweaver?"
Do I recognize this person?
You do not recognize this person.
Okay. I will look at the statue that might be within my viewing distance and look at me, like shrug. Yeah?
No hiding it now.
I can't say no, so.
Oh, I'm so thankful I found you here. I'm so thankful. The head office has sent me and I was trying to find you. I'm so glad I finally found you. Everyone here is looking at me like I'm something to eat.
Yeah, you are. It's fine. You're with me. You'll be good.
Please tell me that it's. Are you heading back to Pinedale now?
Yeah.
Okay.
Is that where you're going?
Yes. I was sent by home office. I'm supposed to report to the Silvered Harrier. There's. Just so yes. Oh God, I'm so happy to meet you. Oh, you're like one of my heroes. You have no idea. I'm so happy. I want to meet. I'm Team Synagog's biggest fan. I know everything about you guys.
No.
Fans?
Not acceptable.
Hey, we've been doing some work.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. And she like starts going around like her like she starts like funneling around her like clothing, and she's looking in pockets, and like papers start to drop out, and she's trying to like hold the papers in place without them dropping, and then there's another one that pencil falls out, and she's just completely discombobulated, and finally finds a business card that she's able to hand you. And she hands you the business card, and on it says Savat Loren Secretarian Corps. Acquisitions Incorporated.
Cool.
And
I'll put it in my pocket.
and she says, "Oh yeah, I'm so excited. I just finished the internship program. I just graduated from the Personal Excellence Training Level 1 program. They just started that, didn't they?"
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Okay. Actually, oh wait, is Hugon still part of the team, right? Is he?
I feel the waves of dissonance from somewhere in the distance.
Oh,
yeah.
I'm so excited. Oh my god, I know everything. Oh my god, I'm so excited.
Oh, this
Stay
is
at this level for him.
He's the one that came up with the Personal Excellence Training Program. Okay, wait to meet him.
Oh,
It was amazing. Oh my god, you've got no
so
idea.
much. Oh no.
It was so amazing to go through the program. Oh my god, I'm so glad. And it was like it started with like 100 of us, and I think it was me and one other person. We were the only ones to survive. It was amazing, and it was oh my god. Did you guys go through it?
Oh no, they didn't have that. But Hugon, then I start walking or towards the boat, so she'll tell me
And she's
along
like
the
right
way.
behind you the entire way, like
Yeah.
absorbing like everything as you start talking. She's like absorbing everything. She's like completely fangirling out over this whole thing.
How long of a boat trip is it, or how long of a trip till it's back home?
It is Oh, hang on. Let's look at our map here.
Oh.
I have an idea.
Oh no! Hang on, I'm pulling up the map so I
hope
can get
not.
an explanation here. Let's see. I'm gonna say that is probably a 2 or 3 day journey by boat. Oh no, you're going to Erebar, right? Yeah, that would.
Yeah, I like to go into Erebar.
I think. You're going upstream though, so it'd actually be 3 days upstream because it all flows out to the Sea of Swords. That's right. Yeah, right out to this. So it's probably be like 2.5 days. By the end of it, it might feel like 5
That's fine.
because she's the entire time she's like giving like
She
every
talks
piece.
more than you.
It's like it's all about like she's all the Team Xenagog trivia that she knows. Like she's like memorized all of the reports that have been filed. You know, she's like,
I want to look around. You know how like most docks and stuff, they have markets and stuff.
mm-hmm.
I want to look around and I want to try and find a vendor that's selling something sugary.
Oh, you can probably find because outside of the main wall, when you're out at this area, this is where it's more like touristy.
Yeah.
Where you're gonna have like not so touristy, but there is you could find not nearly as good as anything you guys get in Pinedale. But you could find something.
Nope, I just want something loaded with sugar.
You could find something serviceable, yeah. Probably probably some kind of cherry pastry. It's like so here in Philadelphia.
Apples or something like that.
So here in Philadelphia, we have this thing. You guys might have seen it when you were here, and when you get here in December for Unplugged, you might be able to find it. It's a thing called Tasty Cake, and they have these tasty cakes that are basically these little pies that are about yay big. And you can get them in apple and cherry, and it's shelf stable pie, for lack of a better word.
Shelf stable pie.
Yeah, it's not terrible. It's not terrible,
Okay,
and if you
I'll take
need,
your word for it.
I will buy some for you, so that way you're not out any money and you can try it. No, it's tasty cake, but you can find something that's very similar to that. It's a little, maybe the crust is a little too thick. Little drier than what you're used to. You know, the cherries have some kind of stabilizing agent in them, like I don't know, xanthan gum or whatever you put in there. What is it?
Whatever they find in fish.
Yeah.
What?
We're in a fishing market. It's on the ocean. You imagine they deal with a lot of fish.
There's some kind of fish preservative.
You get like whale fat or something.
You are
know,
not
it's-
making
it's
this sound
flatness.
delicious.
No, I just want it to be sugary.
There's this one vendor that's selling these little tiny vials of a brown substance that smells vaguely of vanilla and raspberries.
I buy it. whatever seems sugary.
Yes.
I just going through. I'm grabbing all that,
You,
and then we can go on our boat ride.
and she is talking all about the different trivia. She's talking about your time jump. Oh, and how was the time jump? Was the time jump amazing? How was that when you? Because time didn't pass for you guys, right? It was like you guys went there and then you came out, and it was only like a few days for you, but everyone else. And she's like pulling out the different reports and it's like copies of the reports. Every piece of written correspondence, anything that has anything vaguely to do with the workings of Team Xenagog since its founding is like there. She's got it somewhere, but then she's also got papers, and she's like, oh, I know I got stuff for you guys to sign. We got this, blah, blah, and she's just all over the place. She's quite overwhelmed. Eventually, every now and again, she passes out from just sheer exhaustion. But she's still hugging the portfolio the entire time. She's like just, snoring, like the drool's coming down, and then right back.
Like a blanket, put it over, like all of her.
Snuggles in. So, yeah, it's
this is the most concerning individual you have yet introduced yet, and I say that having encountered the lich of my own character's grandfather.
So, and thus begins your journey back to the Chondalwood and Pinedale. I think we're gonna do our own little time jump here to where we left our folks last time. So we had Eno and Thunk, who were enjoying a quite nice autumn meal, because it is autumn now in the Chondalwood, and there was stew. We had that potato dish. We had the D&D raclette that was ordered. Yep. There was a chili that was ordered. I can't remember all of the other wonderful things that were ordered that we just sort of made up on the spot. Lots of comfort food.
Yeah, that's a good way of describing it. An enormous amount of comfort food.
Yes. Lots of apple smell, because fuck pumpkin spice. Fall is all about apples and cinnamon and clove.
All about the cinnamon.
All about
Plant
the cinnamon.
Plant that flag.
Dude, I will die on that hill.
So
Okay.
I will die on that hill.
I'm going to die on that hill.
You want to spend your life cheaply, go be my guest.
What's great is we just had about 8 people join us, and the first thing they might have heard was me telling them, fuck pumpkin spice. But this is the kind of show we run.
Brian, you got to be you got to be aware of the brand and the image that you present.
And I will die on this hill.
We are eat, drink, roll. We must be proponents for all of eating.
It's true.
Someone else can be proponents for anyway. But during the course, and we had the beer we mentioned before, which was named. I'm going to bring it up again because we have new folks here. The beer that Eno, because I just love the fact that we actually crowdsourced this, and I really want I want Jerry and Benson to brew this, or someone should brew this. But it was the darkest. He ordered the darkest stout on the menu. And the darkest stout was of flavor notes of cacao nibs, coffee beans, hot pepper, a whisper of cinnamon. And it was called Chad Flexington's Dark Yum Yum Ale. So, and during the course of that meal, you saw your friend Alexi come stumbling down the path from the mountains, looking worse for wear. Seemed a little altered, maybe. And you and Thunk had jumped down. You did your hero jump down off of the balcony you were sitting on and ran up to him. And it was Alexi. And he had pretty much no idea where he was, how he got there. He was surprised to see you. And apparently he was talking to someone else that no one else could see. And that is where we left it with you guys last time. So we're going to just pick it up right from there, from that on media ray situation.
Okay.
Go.
And go.
I'd like to. I don't remember if I did a medicine check. I don't think we had time for
you
that.
didn't.
I don't think we didn't.
All right.
I don't think we did. Yeah.
I want to do a medicine check.
Okay.
And I got a 2. So.
He's not looking great. I mean, he's walking. He's breathing. Eyes are open.
I'm just gonna throw him a heal. Like, he looks like he might need healed.
Well, Thunk already did. He did the healing
did?
word.
That's right.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's right. Okay, sorry.
But
So,
the monk robes, these dark, because he's part of the Shadow Monastery. So he's got his monk robes are usually of grayscale tones of varying shades of
Mhm.
black and gray, but they're tattered. He's he went through some shit. He's seen some things and some
Yeah.
stuff.
What is he like on the ground right now, or is he like what's
He's standing.
what's his stature?
He's
He's
now that
standing?
after Thunuk's healing word, he was
Okay.
he's walking better. Some of the
Alright.
aches and pains have worked their way out, and he's still very like Jack Sparrowing about. Where am I?
All right.
You know.
So I think I would kind of like try and get him to put his arm around if
Mhm.
he needed to like help. Like, do you need help walking? Is what I would ask him. Do you need help walking?
I don't know. Do I? Am I
I don't
walking
know.
now?
I don't know. Are you?
He looks down at his legs and he's, no, but I am standing.
Okay, you are standing. That's a good sign. Do you remember? Do you remember me?
Of
Do you know who
course.
I am?
You know, of course, I know who you are.
Okay,
But
do you
do you know
remember
me?
where? Yes, I do. You're Alexi.
I am Alexi, and you are
I'm
Eno.
pretty sure. Yes, I'm Eno. Do you remember where we were supposed to meet?
It wasn't here, was it,
No,
dear?
it was a tavern. Do you
Tavern.
remember
It was a tavern.
the things that swim in the
in
ocean, and then things you build the walls with, and you put those two words together?
The fish rock.
Close. Let's get you back to where sort of I live, I guess, now, and maybe that'll be a better place than in the middle of the street.
I will ask him in a second. Where he won't shut up. Where's here?
Can I make a perception roll and see if I can see who he's talking to?
You can certainly make a perception roll.
All right. And that's pretty bad too. That's a 7.
You see nothing other than
Yeah,
just him.
I'm just looking around. I'm like, are you talking to somebody else?
Why would I be talking to someone else?
Because you're talking to somebody else,
I'm talking to you, aren't I?
and you're also talking to somebody else.
Well, please let me know if I stop talking.
Okay. You stopped talking just now.
Oh, dear Lord, what has happened to me?
Yes. Let's get you back to the place.
Yes, the place sounds excellent. Let's
yeah.
go there.
Oh yeah, I remember what I just out of character. I remember what I did last time was when I hit the button to
Oh,
talk
yeah.
to Thunuk, and I
Yeah.
deployed my armor. So I've got my armor on right now. So then I hit the other button, and I'm like Thunuk, this is my friend. Can you help me get him back to the place? I don't know what it's called. The Harrier.
Thunuk shouts from just the
Because he's not that far away.
Okay. Let me just get this to go.
Yeah, can you tell him to box mine up too? Because I didn't finish my chili.
And
I'm
as
still hungry.
and then that's when he hits the button. Is like and he
I could
would
eat.
like it to go. And can we get extra side of what does your friend want? The button is on, so you can actually hear him
Yeah.
like in stereo.
Alexi, are you hungry?
Am
Hungry?
I hungry?
Food? Get him! And I yell, get him the Hugon! But I'm not touching the button. I just yell, get him the Hugon!
And a Hugon, please. Okay.
I go,
We need to invent like D&D Uber Eats or something.
It probably exists. I mean,
I could eat. Yes, I could definitely eat.
Okay, we're getting you get you a sandwich. All right, a sandwich. It's like
A sandwich
thing
sounds
that's got
lovely.
Stuff in it, and
The
it's
things?
edible. Yeah,
Edible. That's edible is
It's called-
preferable.
it's called the Hugon. I don't know why, and I don't know what's in it, but if you don't like it, we can find something else. I've got some rations in my
Hugon.
back in my room. Yeah, it's my friend, my partner in this group. It's a long story. I wasn't in it before,
But you're in
anyway,
it now.
Yeah, like I said, long story. Let's get you back. Can you walk? I know you're standing. We've established that.
I'm not walking right now.
Not yet, but if you would try to put one foot in front of the other.
And he like takes one foot. He goes, yes, I believe I can walk. Let us go.
Locomotion.
Excellent. That way?
Yes, I
Over
think
there.
so. I'll roll a survival check. I got it. I got a 20, 18 plus 2. So the survival check to make sure I'm going the right way.
You are going the correct way, just to make sure,
okay.
because it's been a day.
Yeah, and yeah, I've had the darkest stout.
Oh, wonderful. You live at a bar.
Yeah. Well, yeah, actually, there was a bar there, but we're going to a bar. So if you want to drink, we're going to be there in just a few minutes or so.
That sounds ideal. Let us do that.
Okay.
Is your
And he's
large
just-
friend
he's like,
coming? The one that was on the thing
Yeah.
and getting the food.
Yeah, he's going to bring you a sandwich.
Is that Hugon?
No, his name is Thunk Gentletrunk.
What does he taste like?
I've never tried him.
Nick walks up behind them with like a crate of food and it's like, let's find out.
It's
Licks
a
himself.
literal to-go box.
Oh, let us all do that. And he walks out. He licks you, and he licks your other arm.
Like mud. I taste like mud.
It tastes like dirt.
Don't
That's not
don't,
Are you a
palatable.
pile of dirt?
don't do that. That's weird.
Aren't we all just a pile of dirt? If you think about it, eventually, and then I mean, supposedly we all come from the earth, and we'll all go back to the earth, and
Oh, that's horrifying.
I think it's quite comforting actually. But
No,
to each their
the
own.
aftertaste is horrifying.
Oh, I'm used to it.
Why is my tongue sticky?
Saliva?
Have you not had anything to drink in a while?
How long has it been? When were we supposed to meet?
Honestly, time. I've lost its meaning to me. I don't know.
Me too. Let us have a drink.
I don't know. Let's go have a drink.
We need to have a drink. And you work your way into the bar where you sit down and grab yourself a drinky poo. You crack open the crate. You sit down. Hugon, would you have like wandered in at any point?
Hugon has to.
He was doing his paperwork.
He had to do a lot of paperwork. He had to shout at Tidell.
Mm-hmm. Well, we're gonna come back to that. Okay, we'll come back to that because yes,
a lot. And then he has to speak with the council or whoever's in the building at the moment about the Brotherhood of the Sun.
All right, so we're gonna deal with that in a moment.
I've
got so many things to do.
List.
So
Government sucked.
so you guys sit in. Drenmai kicks the door open as she arrives home. She has this woman in tow with her with all these papers, still talking a mile a minute. And as she comes walking in, Drenmai, I think at this point looks a little beleaguered. Yes? Point of order?
About 2 hours, maybe 3 hours, like on our trip into the town. That's when I would have feeding him every ounce of sugar that I have bought.
So she's exceptionally ramped up right now.
Fuck, I hate you so much.
There's there's the thick coffee dregs at
You
the
did
bottom.
this on purpose.
I did.
There's like thick
damn
coffee
you.
dregs like from the bottom of her canteen. It's like the super concentrated kind, maybe a little bit of that. And so Drenmai basically kicks the door open, a little beleaguered because you've had to endure this for basically the past 3 days. She's going a mile a minute. She still has, you see this woman with the hair and the pencils and the glasses and just the portfolio. And she walks in and she sees Eno and Thunk sitting there and it's just,
God, I hope I didn't hear that sound.
And that actually brings us up to our break time. So we are going to take the briefest of breaks for all of our viewers here. We will be back in just 2 shakes of a lamb's tail, and something to do with fluids. And then after that,
No.
we will. After that, we will come back.
I'm coming to Philadelphia this winter. Like, you watch out, sir.
I'll be there in a month and a half.
I will, and I'm going to bribe you with donuts and tasty cakes. But
okay, we'll see.
Before that, though, we're going to take a break right now, and then we will be back in just a couple of minutes to continue the second half of today's game, Harvest Part 2 of Team X. Stick around, don't go anywhere, and yeah, we'll see you in just a minute. And oh my god, okay, the microphone's alive. Wow, that was...
Oh.
Good job, Ryan.
That was some fuckery. What just
okay.
happened right there? Well done.
Par for the course.
I mean, a bit.
Par for the course. So, we will continue that discussion later. At any rate, gathered throngs.
What were we doing?
Gathered throngs. We are gathered here to play Dungeons and Dragons.
Yes.
This is Team X.
Whoops, I think I'm in the wrong place.
Oh shit! Wait. Oh crap.
Jeez.
Wait. You mean this isn't the Rotary Club?
I thought I was in Lowe's. I thought I was getting paid.
How'd I wander into this? Don't you hate it? Every time you've wandered in there, they send you over to some corner to find what you're looking for, and before you know it, you're playing Dungeons and Dragons with people on the internet.
Every time. Every time.
Every goddamn time. So where we left our protagonists, as we have learned not to call them heroes.
It's wise. You shouldn't do that. Yeah.
Hero is such a strong word. So we were in the Silvered Harrier, where Team X frequently gathers. The main floor of which is a bar and tavern. The higher floors are where they live. The subfloors count as the headquarters. Wow, words are really hard right now, and I don't know why. Mm-hmm. This isn't boding well for the rest of this game. And where we left things, Alexi, Eno's friend, whom he was supposed to meet in a bar in Waterdeep, in a tavern in Waterdeep, and instead was met by some other hooded figure and was magically transported to the Monastery of Shadow, where he encountered Team X, engaged with them in various chicanery and shenanigans, was recruited onto the team, eventually ended up in Pinedale, helped defend the town of Pinedale. Now he's found his friend again. And they're sitting at the Silvered Harrier with this friend who seems a little off. Not entirely sure why. Thunuk is with him. Thunuk brought the takeout. The carry-away.
Mm-hmm.
The carry-away. Or takeaway, is that what they call it? Is that, there's like a British term for it. You don't get takeout, you get like takeaway. Takeaway. I'm going off for,
I like that they had to construct a box for you.
Oh yeah, probably. This was like a...
Like nailed it together in the kitchen, like put all of his food in there.
We probably did them a favor by taking a box that they needed to disassemble to get rid of.
Like it had like cabbage or some shit in it.
Yeah.
And they were just gonna break it down and throw it out anyways, you know, or throw it in the fire. But no, we can, what is it, resource or not resource it, upcycle it.
Yeah.
Repurpose.
Thank you. Dren Mai, who had encountered Savat Loren, who is a part of the Secretarian Corps, recent graduate from apparently the headquarters version of the Personal Excellence Training Program. Apparently that's starting to promulgate throughout the throughout the organization, which is really how it should work, right? One branch has a good idea, and what do? Then okay, well we'll take that and we'll send it out to everyone else. There's going to be pets everywhere now. Bring your pet to work day means something else entirely, not what you think it means. Oh, you can bring your pets here? No, it's not what you think. Today it's team building. All right, everybody, human not.
It not good. No, it not good.
Savat Loren, who is part of the Secretarian Corps of Acquisitions Incorporated, but also apparently a huge fan of Team X. She knows all of the things. And has Dren Weaver got her hepped up on sugar, brought her into the Silver.
Be on level 10 all day for Hugon.
Mm-hmm. Oh, her sugar's at 11 right now. Her excitement, her sugar's at 9, but her excitement is at 11. She's like full, and she had like this total fangirl gasp. Total anime fangirl. You know, one of those like when she sees the heroes and
oh yeah,
and she has immediately run over it, and she's like, like enthusiastically shaking both of your hands, like back and forth, and oh my god, and you're Eno, and oh my god, you're Thunk General Truck, and oh my god, and back and forth, and oh, and you taste like dirt because we had the report on that, and oh, just back and forth, and she's just like spouting, like she's trying to like just spouting out like every piece of trivia about you and about your exploits that come to mind. You're not sure if there is a way to shut this faucet off.
Where is your off button? Please find it.
And as this happens, Hugon feels a disturbance in the force from the keep.
Yeah, well, I'm fairly pleased that
there's something about today that I'm gonna hate. I just know it. I haven't encountered it yet.
He's already had to deal with like a staunch racist today.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how much patience he has left.
But she's looking back for, oh my god, I'm so happy to meet you guys. I'm so excited. And she turns to Alexi. Oh my god, are you part of the team now? Or is this part of a new, is he part of a new mission? Is this part of a new job, guys? Do we have a new contract on this? And oh my god, there's just so much here. And she's just like got the paper still, and she's just going, oh my god, and your headquarters is downstairs, and you just found the second layer, and oh my god, oh, is Stephen still working for you? Do you guys still have Stephen working for you? And oh my god, I can't wait to meet him. I haven't seen him in so long. And
Stephen.
Is Dren just like vibrating?
And as this is happening,
walls.
you see like the door to your headquarters, the door that goes down to the basement of your headquarters. It creaks open just a little bit, and Stephen starts to walk out and is about to say something to you, and it's just like, and like just immediately turn and like just backs up as quietly as possible, like just ghosts.
I'd like to think that I see him come out and I just kind of go like I wave my hand like don't.
As you're doing it, he like sees her and it's just like it's so. If you've ever seen the show Friends, it was every time Joey ever saw Janice, it was just this kind of like this panic of, oh my god, get out of here before I engage. And just,
the show Friends.
Yeah, the show Friends.
Right. Okay.
And Janice, Chandler Bing.
What a horrifying. No, I don't like it.
Stop.
I hate it. Kill that thing, whatever it is.
Kill it dead.
Don't ever do that again.
And you're pretty sure you hear like the headquarters door lock a little bit, and then again. There might be there's like a few extra bolts that a few extra locks that you don't remember being on there that seem to have engaged.
So I think Eno is like alternating between eating soup, drinking the beer, and playing like this ambient music. It's a very slow piece that he's been developing. And so basically it's a song of rest, and it's so that Alexi can regain additional hit points if he needs to. So yeah, he's playing it like a song of rest. It's a very ambient piece. It's very, very slow, drawn out piece.
Very Thievery Corporation kind of,
yeah,
chill.
Well, I don't know. I'll have to look up Thievery Corporation.
Do it. It's a great name for a band.
Yeah, it is.
It is an actual band.
I know. It's great.
At this point, he's completely ignoring Savat Loren. Like he's already like shook her hand like 15 times by now, and he's just like, "Can I have my hand back?" That'd be great.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Oh, no, because you gotta play.
Yeah, I have some things I need to do with my hands, and so that's what he's doing.
Oh my god, are you in the middle of making a new piece? Oh my god, this is so amazing! I get to see a master at work.
Sure, but you have to stop talking for a few minutes. Is that okay?
And she like sits. Oh my god! I'm not shutting up. Oh my god! This is so amazing!
Starting now would be good.
For those who are listening on the podcast, Gideon has taken his headphones off. He's like, no.
No, that was not because Eno's song. I want to be very
No,
clear.
it was because of Savat. And she like turns like the deepest possible shade of red, tears like pulling up, and she's just sitting there like trying her best to like not say anything. She might be vibrating a little bit.
you're great, and I definitely want to talk to you at a later time.
And there's a whole like there's this whimper, and like the tears just well up even more, and it's just that just you just made her month. It's
And he continues and he says, "But I can't right now.
I just can't."
I'm busy. Please don't take it the wrong way. Okay. I'm pleased to meet you, Savant. You're from the home office? Terrific.
He said my name. I had to.
Hold that thought. And then he's like, as he starts eating his soup, he takes a sip of beer and he's playing the song and he's like, Alexi, the fish and stone waited for over a week. What happened?
Well, let's see. We were looking for something, weren't we?
Yeah.
We needed... What was it again? I can't seem to remember.
It was...
It has nothing to do with the Dungeon Master not remembering the conversations
It
we
was-
had almost a year ago. And it's completely in
It was-
character.
It was a phrase.
A phrase.
May your labors please us.
And he gets like this blank expression on his face, and like this placidity falls over. And then for a moment, there's like this subtle change in his facial expressions, and he's like, "What the hell? I don't remember that phrase. Wait a minute, do I remember that phrase? Yeah, we were finding, and then there was the place, and there was people.
And there was supposed to be a library somewhere you were helping me to get to. But
Well,
I got there anyway.
You got there anyway.
Yeah.
You
and
did.
They didn't know where you were either.
Who's they? Am I being watched?
No. I don't know. We're probably all being watched, but that's
Oh
beside the
dear
point.
God, we're all just tough.
I think
That is
as a matter of
horrifying.
fact, we're all being watched right now. But no,
Are they
you're-
watching me now? Oh God, they might
you're-
be watching me now.
You're a monk. You're from a monastery. Do you remember
That's
that?
why I'm wearing these clothes.
Yes.
I was a monk, wasn't I? Am I still a monk?
That is unclear to me. I
It
would
is unclear to
imagine that
me
you
as well.
you probably are, and we can send you back there anytime you want.
Oh dear God, where are you
As
sending
far,
me?
no, not now, but if you want, if you only if you can, if you would like to, you can stay here as you can do whatever you want. You're your own person.
I think that's best.
Yes, you can do whatever you want, within reason.
Who's the little one and the screaming girl? Why are they making so much noise? And why is the little one vibrating?
She does that. It's just her thing.
And what?
Have you never met a gnome?
No, I just met her.
No.
No, just met her.
Just met her.
Just met her.
Just.
I hurt my nose because of that facepalm. That's your fault.
No matter how long it takes, we'll get to the bottom of this. No matter.
God damn it. That's even worse.
Alexi, welcome, gnome. This is your new gnome.
That doesn't make any sense.
Oh,
You're
no.
saying
I know,
and
it
it begins
doesn't.
with an H. I think you're making words up.
Dren,
I don't know
how
what
was your
he's
trip?
talking about.
He turns to Drenmai and he's like, Drenmai, how was your trip?
Oh, it was fine. And then I found this one. I point to her.
I'm so glad that you did. Now, Alexi,
Mm-hmm.
where have you been? Do you remember?
I don't think that I do.
Okay.
I
has now
remember
been
walking
established.
down. I remember mountains and a path, and then food. No, wait. That's what I'm wearing. That's what I smell right now. That's this.
This is the Hugon. Is it good? Have you tried it
Oh,
yet?
wait a minute. What is this thing? And it's so the Hugon, for those who didn't tune in last week and want to know what the Hugon is, it is a sandwich. It is a large sandwich. It is a sandwich between two toasted pieces of, I guess, what would be described as artisanal bread. And
All bread and baked and by an individual, simply artisanal bread.
listen,
there's no factory bread place.
always be
in
marketing.
D&D?
It doesn't
Branding.
matter.
Branding.
Branding.
Always be branding.
Yeah.
It's always about the branding. It doesn't matter that if you call it artisanal, you can charge more for it. People think there's extra stuff in there, and there's not. It's just bread that someone made that didn't come out of a machine. Maybe it did come out of a machine. We don't know. It could still be artisanal. But in between these two pieces of toasted bread is, we said, I believe, some cheese, right? I forget what kind of cheese we said, but it was probably some sharp cheddar. Now, you know what it is? It's Humboldt Fog. For those of you who have had that, because it's a throwback to something else. So it's a kind of like a very nice goat cheese.
Oh.
It has layers of very thinly shaved, very rare roast beef, stacked high, and then a perfectly fried egg. So when you bite into this monstrosity, the first thing that happens is the yolk just oozes over all of it. And Alexi gets like, this is a two-hander. This is not like eating. This is not the kind of sandwich you could eat whilst driving or anything like that. This is, you gotta double fist it, and then once you start, you're not finishing. You can't put it back down. The integrity would have been compromised. It's not a sandwich anymore once it goes back down on the plate. So Alexi gets into this, and this is wonderful. It's delightful, and just starts
Great.
mashing this thing into his craw. You get the impression that he has not eaten in quite some time.
Eno looks at his wrist thing for like 5 seconds, and then he presses a button, and he says, "Hugon, Alexi likes your sandwich." And then he goes back to eating his chili.
Hugon's bracer isn't even on his body right now.
That's fine.
It's like on his desk, like so because he's like bent over his paperwork, and it doesn't like want his like bracer like ruining the paper.
Yeah.
And so he hears, "Alexi likes your burger or sandwich or whatever,"
Yeah.
and he stops, reaches for the bracer, and stops like halfway, and then just gets back to writing in his paperwork.
Now,
I don't know if he knows what to do with that.
there's questions here, and if I ask them, then I'm gonna know, and it's not the last question. I'm gonna get sucked into this. I'm gonna get sucked into this weirdness. There's things that need to be done. I'll deal with it later.
So while he's eating that sandwich, I'm assuming it's going to take a couple minutes.
And there's uncomfortable lip smacking and grunting as he's eating.
Okay.
So, maybe even a little some possibly inappropriate moaning. You're not sure.
Eno would incorporate whatever sounds are coming out with the song.
And suddenly, why does it all of a sudden sound like slap bass? Boom, ticka, boom, boom.
So kind of while he's eating that, while he's eating the Hugon, Eno turns to Savat and he says,
Can we not ever say that again?
I had to say it at least once.
I
But
know,
it's
I
so
know.
great.
He's
So
just destroying that Hugon. No, I don't like it. I don't like it. He
So-
mashed it into his craw. No, still don't like it.
Is Savat still like watching?
Large
And
portions
stuff.
Oh,
of
she
that
is like,
Hugon are
well now
dripping
now
down.
she's kind of done like this sneaky kind of like ding 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 ding, ding like Tim Twinkle to thing, and she's kind of like she's like right all up in like she's like all up in Thunnock's grill.
So he says
Like she's like
Savat,
enraptured.
and then he sees how close she is to Thunnock, and then
Mhm.
he's just okay. She's doing something else now. You know what I mean? Like he's just like, okay, she's doing something. And then he
Are you really a fearbog?
Am I not? I thought I was. This is a very complicated question.
Thunnock's questioning his own self. This is sad.
Are you actually able to talk to animals?
Oh yeah, yeah. Are you okay?
Yes!
Oh, okay.
Greatest day ever.
You seem a little high strung.
I was very excited.
When was the last time you ate? Would you like some? Just I got plenty. Just potatoes and cheese and
Try
You're
to get
sharing
that
your
sugar
food?
out of her body. Just to like give her stomach something else
Dren
to think about.
Dren gave me a whole bunch to eat on the way over here. But are you sharing your food with me?
well, you seem very. I don't know, like your blood sugar may be a bit off. Maybe you need some like protein, cheese.
If we're sharing food, does this mean we're friends?
Well, yeah.
Oh!
Are you okay? Oh, okay.
This person is a meme given life,
Uh,
and I cannot stress how deeply uncomfortable that is. This is like the overly attached girlfriend meme, but a person.
Thunnock breaks out, goes into one of his pouches, and breaks out a little leaf-covered orb,
Mm-hmm.
and says, "You might want to eat this first. You seem like you're having some difficulties. It'll still help with your digestion." And he's basically just giving her something to help her mellow out. It's a D&D equivalent of an edible.
She takes it, and there's again tears, like just kind of like just welling up, and it's just like the enthusiasm is just like not even. It's barely contained by the absolute thinnest of membranes, and it's all. And she, thank you, and sit there, and she starts like nibbling at it like almost like a chipmunk, but she still has all this portfolio of papers with her, and she's like trying to like, it's kind of like trying to navigate it around the paper. And they're trying to, without chewing on the paper, an occasional piece of paper gets in the mouth, you know, and she kind of like chipmunks this thing.
There's a table here if you want to put your papers down. You can use this table.
My papers. There's papers in here for you.
Papers in there for me?
No, for everyone.
Oh.
I can't believe I forgot. Oh my god, my first assignment! I already forgot. Oh my god, I can't forget. I forgot the papers on my very first assignment. Oh no, Omen's gonna be so upset. Oh, you guys must hate me already.
Relax.
That point, I'm going to page Hugon and be like, Hugon, we have some shit that you need to sign. Silver Harrier.
And again, in Hugon's office, he reaches out for the bracer, and this time picks it up and like hits the button and goes, "I'm busy, put it on my desk for later," and then sets the bracer back down.
Beep now!
And then he turns off his radio.
You hear like the little squelch, like you know,
there's like bring click clack.
It's the magical D&D equivalent of a phone being hung up very, very, very. With a there is punctuation at the end of that sentence.
Does that come through on all of the things or just hers?
Why not all of them? Why not?
Okay.
We've never. This has sort of been a fluid thing of how these things actually work. I'm treating it like the Star Trek communicators.
I sometimes feel like maybe it's smart tech and it's trying to figure out whether or not it's supposed to go out everyone, and sometimes it's just like, sure, why not?
It's not the smartest tech. It did pretty good. Its grades were all right, you know. It got into National Honor Society,
average.
like like B-. It like was able to kind of eke its way into National Honor Society, but you know, it was on paper it looked fine.
So I'm gonna use one of my ultimates because I don't have this song anymore, and I really wish I still had it, but I might have to add it again if I ever level up again. But I'm gonna try and play a soothing melody to calm this woman the fuck down.
Okay.
She just did eat an edible.
Oh,
to chill her out.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Eno doesn't know that.
Fort save.
Oh man, she's gonna be super mellow.
Yeah.
Make a Constitution save, Brian.
She makes her fortitude save.
Soothing song. Go.
She's still eating it, but she's almost like hyper focusing now. And she's still kind of beside herself with the embarrassment that she forgot the papers, and she's kind of like she's an emotional wreck right now.
So he starts singing. He's like, everything is gonna be okay. It's gonna be all right now. It's gonna be all right now. Everything's all right. You can come the fuck down now. And he just keeps playing.
Okay. Well, you had 3. We're gonna take. Again, yours kind of disappeared. I'm not gonna take away the one you have. So we'll say that. But that does mean that That means I get a dark. Where's my DM dice? That means I get one of them back. I'm so excited. I get one of my dark inspiration back. And so so give me a D20 roll so we can see the effectiveness of your. Now I forget, what did we call it? We call it a twin song, right?
I don't remember, but
I thought it was like performance. No, I don't remember.
Oh shit, 29.
Jesus Christ!
Whoa!
I had a 19.
My
Man.
God. She like immediately just like sits down on one of the seats.
She falls asleep.
It's like she's like sort of staring off in the distance. She's still got the papers, but now like the face just goes slack. Little line of drool like right here, like, and just like this contented sigh of. You think maybe the combination of the song finally was able to allow that edible to finally get like the toehold it needed, for it to just kind of like, because this is a mellow high, right? This is not like the one. This is not like, hey, I need to focus in and like do things stuff. I don't remember all the different strains, but this is like the other one.
Indica versus sativa or whatever.
Yeah, exactly. I think the sativa is like, I need to do stuff now, whereas where in indica is like, and if I'm wrong, someone please by all means correct me. Yes, but the grains have been soothed.
So Eno turns to Dren and says, "What did you feed her?"
Got some snacks. Trust me, she's been like this the whole time.
Okay, so it wasn't just that.
Nah.
Snacks.
Okay. And how did I asked you before, but there was a lot of things going on. How was your trip?
It was good. It was not terribly eventful. Made a pact with the dragon. Came back home.
What?
Was it a nice dragon at least?
I didn't get eaten.
That's a bonus. Usually an
That's-
indicator.
Is evident.
That's I think that was my takeaway from that. No, he's fine.
Uh-huh. Was that... Do you think that was a good idea or a bad
Well,
idea?
it was for Razi. He needs some. He's not working so well currently, so I had to do it for him.
He's kind of
Oh.
he's looking kind of droopy and on her shoulder, kind of like.
Yeah, he's normally he flits around and stuff. He's a little bit slower moving right now.
Okay.
You can hear the squeaks.
There's a little squeak as he like climbs up on the table and curls up and like just.
Him's so sleepy. My little sleepy boy.
Mm-hmm.
Has he ever actually interacted with Thunuk aside from just like being around him? I don't remember.
Didn't you try to talk to him once?
Yes, and it didn't really work out. Because I think he is not technically an animal.
Nope.
I think he probably just figures that he doesn't speak the right animal language or something. So he's been trying ever since.
We've tried chipmunk. We tried iguana. We tried iguana. We tried monitor lizard. We've tried Gila monster. Nothing takes.
No. Unless you really speak Draconic, I don't think you'd actually be able to talk to him.
No, but he's still gonna try.
Okay.
Every day.
I applaud Thanuk's efforts. I almost want to get Thanuk like a book on like how to speak Draconic in 10 days, or like one of those dumb things.
Dummy's Guide to Draconic.
Dummy's Guide to Draconic.
So our fun capybara boy can
finally speak to Razi.
Can finally speak to Razi. And yeah, Razi's kind of taking a nap. You got Alexi, who's now finally finishing off his he's finishing off Hugon. He's finishing.
Don't do that again.
He's licking Hugon off the plate.
Nope,
Yeah.
you shut the hell up.
he's licking the last of Hugon off his fingers, and
I'm gonna go to that restaurant. I'm gonna burn it the fuck down. I don't care how much they're paying me for royalties.
There's still some Hugon in his face.
They're paying zero
here.
for royalties right now.
Little Hugon right here, right here.
Hugon's getting in the beard.
I hate every single aspect of this.
He got some in his eye when he got it out.
Room to be mad about it.
Hands him a
Which is
napkin.
probably a good thing because people would be dying.
Oh, thank you very much. And he like wipes his face. No, wait. We were talking about. Oh, why? What happened to her? Why is she asleep? What is she asleep or is she in a coma?
It's a good thing.
Oh.
It's fine.
It's a positive.
Yeah.
I think on that note, I'd probably, if they're gonna chat and stuff, I'll take Razi over to my shop so I can work on him.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, so you head over to your shop. Well, she was a bit much, wasn't she?
She seems new.
I
Maybe
think the word
she'll-
is extra.
Yeah.
And he kind of like just
That's-
pokes at her a little bit, and she's like, just kind of. She gets a little pokey there. So Hugon, paperwork.
Yes.
You've been doing your paperwork.
Yes.
What was the talking to that you had with Tidell?
For one, don't show up at meetings you're not invited to. 2, going around putting knives to people's throats is absolutely not the level of professionalism that we expect. Everything was under control in that room. What if he had been a better fighter than you? Do you recall the reversals that I showed you? Those are not rare. Many people know how to do that. And suddenly you're bleeding out with a hole in your heart from a dagger blow.
But he wasn't.
He wasn't this time.
That's why I did it.
This is not a conversation where you talk. This is a conversation where you listen and then you say, yes.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Sorry.
That's better.
Was at least my stealth good?
Are you asking me to praise you for being disobedient?
No, I'm asking for constructive feedback on my technique.
Then we're going to have a conversation in the yard about it. How about that? Yeah. Oh.
I should go on patrol.
After the yard, yeah. You just pulled night duty. Congratulations.
10-year-old pulling night duty.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, okay.
Then she leaves the room.
And Hugon is doesn't say it out loud, but he is so aggravated that she and Laura Lissa clearly had the opportunity to train together.
Yeah, this is yes.
Whilst they were at the monastery for 2 days. It's like, God, because he can see Laura Lissa present in her technique, and it's just.
And just in her general attitude.
It's just God.
And
damn
here's how you really piss him off. Listen, when he gets mad, you do this. But when he's not mad, this is what you can get away with, and this is how you push his buttons. And then you do the other thing, and then it's fine.
Her preternatural ability to mess with Hugon is both frightening and impressive.
To be fair, Hugon is aggravated by basically everything, right? It's just that Laura Lissa occupies the non-lethal part of the aggravation scale.
She's figured out where that boundary is and skirts right along it.
Whereas Dren occupies the other half
just
of
on
that,
the other side. She's
line
just
graph.
right over here.
Okay, not okay.
It's tangent, right? You got this tangent line, you got this tangent line, if we remember our pre-cal. And here's Dren, here's Laura Lissa, here's the no man's land. We don't know we don't know what's there.
So and it's just he's foreseeing that Laura Lissa's Laura Lissa's influence on Pinedale is going to be a problem for everyone, particularly Pinedale's parents, especially when she gets into her teenage years.
Oh, but prom's gonna be so much fun.
No. Some boy's going to come back from prom with no hand.
And she'll probably have cut it off.
She'll probably have cut it off and made him wear it as a necklace.
As a hat.
It's bad.
Right here. Right here. So, and then you said you also, I know we had to deal with the town council. It was basically.
We had to deal with the town council, and I would like to, in terms of because the town council has oftentimes made decisions that are not in their best interest. Frighteningly regular decisions that are not in their best
making
interest.
Hugon part of the town council?
Yes, and
it could be included.
It can be included in this list. They make bad decisions, and I want them to make the correct bad decisions.
Mm-hmm.
And the correct bad decision that I would like them to make is to authorize a advisory board to be present in Elboulder
Mm-hmm.
to help supervise any sort of trade issues.
Mm. Like a merchants council almost.
Yeah, basically, except the Merchants Council is just composed of spies. And they're
That I've chosen and put into place.
that I've chosen and put into place, and their job is to make trade flow.
SPYs or SPIIs?
SPIIs.
Okay.
Oh, those spies.
Yeah.
See, this is where our corporate speak is getting away from us. So the subspecialist proto-intern.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
And their purpose there is to make sure that trade happens unrestricted.
to make sure the spice flows.
To make sure the spice flows. Yes. And I think the important thing that needs to happen, the most important thing, is
Mhm.
that they say yes to
Mhm.
this idea. And they also grant sort of a broad discretionary
Broad sweeping powers. Broad
when
sweeping,
I say powers,
loosely defined.
yeah, I mean, like if we're gonna be Acquisitions Incorporated, we got to be at least like corporately lawful evil. It has to be in writing.
Loosely defined, no real technical job description. Just kind of let us do what we want to do and sanction it.
And basically, under the auspices of enriching Elboulder and Pinedale simultaneously.
So, okay, so there's going to be a proposal made for that,
Mhm.
because it's not just something.
I would like to roll an obviator check to make that proposal seem very, very direct and very simple and very irrefutable.
So, if I remember correctly, an obviator, if you're doing a check for that, that would basically you get you add proficiency to that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Um,
It's essentially, I would like to, I don't know if it would be insight or if it would be how I would craft a document. I want to say insight or survival. What do you think?
I would say that in this case, if you're trying to find the best way to appease the town council, or at least get them on board, it would... That would be... You'd want to do an insight check, because the idea is that you're going to try to reach into their wants, needs, fears, and goals.
This is true.
And from what you've...
I have to dissect them psychologically.
Yes. You got to do like the whole Criminal Minds thing on them.
Right. Got to hit the
Right.
right notes, so to speak. Okay, cool. And so insight, add proficiency. That's 6. Rolling. That's a 24.
Okay. So you think, given that there are 4 other members on the council, it's going to take you probably about a day to get everything sussed out just right. So when you do your presentation, because you're not giving them 4 separate presentations or 4 separate
It's
proposals,
a single presentation.
but you have to craft each section so that way, no matter which section you're looking at, there's a facet there that they can say, oh, that's, and it just sort of resonates with them.
Right. And I feel like Hugon's job here is to, on behalf of Acquisitions Incorporated, is to quote unquote maximize the efficacy of any sort of boardroom proposal here.
Yeah.
Right.
Absolutely.
He is crafting
Crafty.
razor sharp contracts and proposals here. Is his goal.
Drenmai. Is she awake?
Yes, she is.
Yeah, I was listening to the child.
Oh, I'm sorry. Her spy, her subspecialist proto intern level 1 over there had some things to say. What when you're upgrading Razi, are you actually taking him apart?
There are parts of them that have to come off to then get put back together.
Is this kind of like a dissection class type situation, or is it more like he's got modular parts that you can like unbolt, fix, and put the new parts in?
So, the structure of Razi is his mechanical bits are the extremities. So those parts can come apart.
Would there be a certain amount of fluid that would come out when you do this?
Just a little.
Okay, just a little. So only a little bit of fluid comes out. Like it dribbles.
Just a little.
It dribbles just a little
Yes.
bit. So
I
so
love that face.
so you're in the back of your you're in the back of your you're in the back of your shop. Because I can't imagine you'd be doing this in view where someone could just wander in and see.
No.
Yeah.
No,
So
the shop is closed. Windows drawn. Yeah.
there's no candy here, kids. Don't come here. And
Do not come here. Go away.
yeah. So you're working, and you hear a scratching noise from the from the front area, your customer area.
Okay.
Like you hear like something. It sounds like something scratching at the something scratching at your front workshop there, like your front counter.
So it's in the shop?
Mm-hmm. The scratch is coming from
Maybe-
inside the house.
Inside the house. If I'm not in like a vital part of Razi because he's basically been put under,
Mm-hmm.
I'll peek out, see if I see anything.
You do.
Okay.
You see a horse-sized duck. No, you see a horse. You see a horse-sized panther-looking thing,
Kitty!
and he's there in your front deal, in your front area there, but he's holding up one of his paws, his front paw.
Sir Silver.
He bites you in half.
No.
You're dead.
Would
I
you
win
have
Dungeons and
to?
Dragons. Game over.
Yay!
That's the whole story. That was what I was trying to get to this entire time. 2 years of storytelling. Boom. No. And he's holding up his paw, like.
This is totally like a thorn in the lion paw type thing.
Mhm.
Yeah, I'll go over and I'll look at it and well, I imagine he's up there, so the paw's basically on viewpoint for me
Mhm.
height-wise. So I'll do the like look around. What
Let's
do
see.
I see?
Would this be? Let me see. So it wouldn't. Would it be a medicine check or would it be like some kind of mechanical check?
Well, it's my own brand of medicine, I guess. But oh crap, I didn't have my sheet pulled back up.
Yeah, make a case for me as to which. Because I could see a case made for medicine in this case, but I could also see a case made for some kind of like tinker check.
Well,
Animal
let's
handling.
see. That doesn't work for me.
Well, tough. You got to do one.
Um.
Tough shit. That's how we play D&D.
Well, okay. Here.
Checks don't work for me. I just want to succeed.
I know. I want to initially do like an investigation on the area
Ah.
to see what the problem may be.
Okay. So let's get an investigation.
Okay.
Watching.
A 9.
A 9.
Right? Yeah. A 9.
You know he has a hurt paw. You're not too familiar with steel predator anatomy and inner workings. So obviously his paw is hurt.
Okay.
But you would probably need to spend some time figuring that out. It wouldn't just be like, oh, I know what this is and I can fix it right away. You're gonna need to spend a little bit more time with him.
Okay. God, what did he speak?
He doesn't. He speaks. He can understand, but he doesn't actually speak languages.
Somebody's binging.
Sorry, that's my phone. I
That's
thought I
fine.
put it in airplane mode, but
Like, bring. I hear. We're closed.
Go away! It says you're open 24 hours, not in a row!
Not today.
It's whoever it is steps on a trap and is incinerated. Just it's like Jesus.
And Eno suddenly has a sense of relief of, man, I'm glad I didn't walk there.
I think if he can understand, I'll be like, okay, give me 1 minute.
Mm-hmm.
And
he kind of sits down on his haunches. He sits and he's still got the one paw up.
And I'll go back and I'll put Razi together so that way he's not just laying there. And then I'll go back and let's see. I'll do maybe I could arcane it. Maybe something magical happened to him.
When in doubt,
look for magical bullshit.
Arcana.
If I can't see it, maybe magic can.
Sa-na-ta-na.
That's a 23.
There's nothing magical about the injury. You pick up on the innate magic that is sort of infused into the Steel Predator. You pick up a whiff of the Shadowfell off of him.
Okay.
Like an odor.
I'll like pull up a chair. It'll be a really tall chair.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll start really kind of looking into it.
Okay. All right. We are going to come back to that.
Okay.
Meanwhile, back at the Silvered Harrier, Alexi, you've been having a difficult time figuring out, he's obviously altered. There's something, he's obviously missing. He's got some holes in his memory right now.
Okay.
And it seems like things are taking the roundabout way to getting. Thoughts are a little messy right now. Your Savat is still kind of like chilled out, kind of like humming to herself now.
I want to do another medicine check, and this time I'm gonna give myself a bardic inspiration. Because I don't have any pluses to that. Oh, geez, a 9 and an 8. All right, so that's 17.
As best you can tell, physically, he seems to be in perfect health. Maybe even like better health than he was before, but the last time you saw him.
So he's all healed up, at least physically.
Yes.
At this point, by
Yes,
now,
it
with
almost
the healing song.
It does, but it doesn't necessarily seem like the healing had as much to do with it.
Okay.
As much as just like he looks like he might have lost a few pounds. He's looking like he's in good shape.
Maybe it was the Hugon.
Maybe it's because he ate the Hugon. Maybe it's because I don't know. Maybe he went on. Maybe he did the paleo for a few months. You don't know. I mean, it's been a while.
Right.
But he seems like a better specimen than he did prior.
Okay.
To prior to your whole meeting when you were in Waterdeep and you're doing your whole thing there.
Yeah, I wish. I wish I had. So, the only thing that Eno can think of to do right now, he reaches into his bag and he pulls out the book that he got off the shelf at the library in the monastery. The one that had the information, like a little bit of information about the entity that we were that I was trying to discuss with him. And he says, Alexi, have you ever seen this book before?
And he looks down at the book. It doesn't appear to be familiar, no.
This is the only thing I've found so far that has any shred of evidence about this group that you know something about. I think you were going to tell me something, and I don't
am?
know.
Or I was.
You were. I don't know if you can now.
Or I'm
I
going
don't
to.
know if, hopefully, maybe you already did.
I might have already. Did I tell you already?
I don't remember it.
Well, I don't remember it.
I want to tell you what happened.
Please do.
You didn't you weren't there. You didn't show up, and that's okay. But some other people did. And this gravelly voice called me over. I was holding a beer. In fact, it was in this mug, and he brings out the mug. It was in this mug. And I was in the fishing stone, and I went over and I talked to this gravelly voiced. I think it was a dragonborn. We established that before, right?
Mhm.
It was the dragonborn that I was talking to.
Yeah.
I was talking to, and it turns out I was talking to a dragonborn, and he asked me to steal well, I didn't know her at the time, but he asked me to steal her lantern, and she's not there right now. Like he points to where she was.
Oh, the
and then
little one and the little shiny
Yeah,
thing.
the
she
little-
had. Oh, no, that.
right. He wanted me to steal that, and then he was going to tell me what I wanted to know. But
So, right, we got to steal the lantern and go and find the guy, and we'll find out everything we need.
I decided not to do that
Because
she's now my
she's
friend.
Your friend now, right? Of course.
Yes, we're not doing that.
No, we're not going to do that. I'm going
And
to do that. That way you're not friends.
No,
with the-
don't do anything that would make my friend mad, please. That would make her very angry.
For your own safety.
Would I not like her when she's angry?
You probably won't know anything after she gets angry. You won't be here anymore.
Well, that doesn't sound like fun.
Yeah, it's not fun.
We shouldn't do that then.
So
We should not
listen.
steal her lantern then.
He also wanted me to get a book.
Education is important. By all
And
means.
the book ended up being a recipe book. And we ended up accidentally leaving it in the library.
That doesn't sound very useful then if you don't have the book you need.
Well, I don't
know
even
there's
know
a
if,
cookbook for that matter, but
yeah.
to each their own.
It wasn't a very good cookbook. Thunic says with like a mouthful of food. Ratios were all off. Everything that whatever, all those recipes would have been garbage.
And it was called the Tome of Abarak. Does that ring a bell?
Though I'm sorry, say again. Who of the what?
The Tome of
Tom
Abarak.
No, it does not. But again, I am missing pieces.
Yeah, I know. Do you know who the librarian is?
Isn't that the person who keeps the books?
But there's a specific librarian at that library in the monastery that you used to live at.
The librarian.
She's very weird.
I think I do remember her. Oh, perhaps I better put on my best face then. I'll make sure I look good when I go
Okay.
see her again.
I don't know that you want to see her.
I do not want to see her.
Yeah, she's like not. She's not human, I don't think.
Must never stopped me before, has it?
Okay. I mean, feel free. We ended up getting lured into the Shadowfell
Oh,
because we talked to her. Yeah, it was
that sounds familiar.
an interesting time.
Is there... They have these little doll things with all the bugs. Is that what...
That sounds familiar.
That sounds terrible. And why am I remembering
tried to
this?
forget.
Why am
Maybe
I remembering...
you were there. Were you there?
I don't know.
Is that where you went?
It might have been.
Because we had this whole time thing happen where when we got out of there, the time was all forward. It wasn't, it was like way more, it was like time had passed way.
Time always passes, does it not? Oh,
but it passed a lot faster
Oh.
than normal.
Hmm.
Like months.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you got to stay the same age.
As far as I know,
We need to bottle it and sell it. We'll be rich.
that's a good idea, actually.
We
Well,
should.
maybe not. I don't know. Do you think?
I don't think.
We could try.
I don't think we should worry about the consequences. I think we should just do things.
Okay.
Well, Thunic, a rat starts tapping on your shin.
Thunic performs speak with animals because clearly this rat has something to say.
Yo, you might want to go out front.
Up front.
Yeah, there's a guy. I think you know him. All metal.
Metal guy.
Metal guy. Yeah, the one that you talk to and he doesn't talk back to. The ones where the fucking birds don't poop on him because you said whatever the fuck to them and.
Oh, you mean Grimoire?
Yeah,
No,
that
that's-
fucking guy. I don't know the fuck his fucking name. Chrome Dome, whatever the fuck you call him. Yeah, he's out front.
Oh, okay.
That's not right, is it? He didn't move before. I mean, you got him out in, and
He's been tired. He's been resting.
he stepped on my fifth cousin.
He's very slow walking. Your fifth cousin. How did he get stepped on him?
Well, he's kind of
He gets stepped
stupid
on.
and he's kind of a douchebag, so I'm not really that upset. But I'm just saying, it's
My
my
condolences. and-
his mom his mother's gonna be fucking pissed. She's gonna be chewing my ear off, and then I
that's-
gotta chew her ear off because that's what you do. And I, because you don't only want one ear, and then it's a whole fucking thing. It's
you should see me if you need patching up.
just okay. Yeah, well, he's dead, but I mean the other one.
No,
maybe.
I mean you with the ear.
Oh, okay, yeah.
chewing
No.
thing.
I'm gonna. No, believe me, you're gonna fix my fucking ear if she chews it off.
Oh,
That's the way. Listen, because this is your
Okay.
buddy, and you tell your friend he's got to be careful where he fucking walks.
I'll do that. I'll make sure he
You
understands.
better fucking do that. You fucking walking calamity, and he walks out and just scurries out. Motherfucking
Most surly
things.
person in Pinedale.
Motherfucking, did you not fucking this fucking guy's so fucking big? Like, goddamn, he's just cursing to himself on his way out. He like quick scrubs up. He like grabs a piece of bread off of the counter and like runs back. And this,
Every so often looks over his shoulder.
yeah, this is for
Curses
my
a little
fucking
bit more.
time. And
That I'll go upstairs and have a chat with Grimoire.
no, he's like out front.
Oh,
Yeah.
Oh.
And like you open the door
Front.
and like as soon as you open the door, Grimoire is like in the door. Like he stopped at the door, like the door, like his shoulders are above the door,
okay.
but he like stops there and he's just completely blocking the entrance.
This is the entrance to
The Silvered Harrier.
Silver Harrier?
Yeah.
Okay. Are you having difficulties going through this small door? It is kind of small.
My knees hurt.
Oh, that would make bending over it hard. Yes. Have you been stretching? You should stretch. Stretching is important for things like that. I mean, you stood still for a very long time.
Something reeks of shadow.
Sonic gives himself a whiff. No? Yeah, no, I bathed a few days ago. That probably not me. You probably mean, you probably don't mean like in a metaphorical sense, but like actual shadows have smells?
To me, they do.
Oh.
Do a perception check.
Okay. Oh man, that was almost very nice.
But not.
But not. No, it's an 8.
Yeah, okay, you don't notice anything. And he says, I have a sense of shadow sworn.
Okay. Is that bad?
They are the cause of the calamity. They were the victors. They are why the one is no longer one and why it is now four.
That's not good.
They were the aggressors.
Do you have an idea, like a direction?
And like this hand kind of creaks up and like just points into the Silver Harrier.
Think. Okay, so people smell like this, or would a large portal gateway smell like this also?
This is
Because that portal that we evacuated everyone through, it's kind of shadowy
It is not
when
that.
we turn it on. Oh, okay. So I can help you if get to the door if you have to like bend over or if your knees give out. You want to give it a try?
That would be helpful.
All right. Okay. So
Speak of this to no one.
I probably won't have to. We're in a very public place. A lot of people are going to see this.
Do it anyway.
Okay. And Thunic sort of helps him, steadies him as he tries to bend over and crouch.
And you
through
hear like the
doorway.
creaking, and it's like creaking and clicking of the knees as they kind of bend a little bit, and he works his way through this door, and he stands up again. Because we had described that Grimoire is this giant suit of armor that probably the best way to describe it is very similar to Alphonse from Full Metal Alchemist, and large enough that it is almost a Firbolg, is probably a Firbolg sized suit of armor warforged, is what Grimoire is. And he comes in, and you see like the head starts moving, and it's almost like scanning, and then it locks in on Alexi. And this deep growl comes from like deep inside the armor. You just hear Shadow Sworn.
Eno,
Kill Bill sirens begin to go off.
I think I think there's a problem with your friend.
Yes, I know.
A further problem. And
What?
Thunic is sort of pointing at Grimoire. Yeah, a further problem with your friend. He's apparently some sort of shadow sworn.
So I do I did a quick perception check. I got a 16 to see if I'm paying attention to Thuna, because I pictured that he comes up, he's behind me, and I'm just like, yeah, I know there's a problem, and like maybe as I turn around, I'm like, I see him kind of going like that, and I turn around and I see like the armor that's been outside for days and months, and I'm like, what? He's a Alexi, are you a shadow? What's it?
A shadow what? No, I don't think I am.
Shadow. What'd you say? Shadow sworn?
Sworn? Is that right, Grimoire?
Sworn?
Shadow
Sworn?
Sworn.
Alexi, are you Alexi, play Shadow Sworn?
I was waiting for how long it was take for us to get there. I don't believe I'm a Shadow Sworn, but if I was, that's what I would say to him.
He's not a Shadow Sworn.
I don't really know what that means, honestly. What's
a Shadow Sworn?
Yeah, what Grimoire? What is a Shadow Sworn?
They are the adversary.
Okay, we covered
That's
that.
a lot of information.
But what does that
He takes
entail?
a creaky step forward towards Alexi.
Eno gets in between Alexi and Grimoire.
So you have Alexi, then you have Grimoire, who is the size of Thunic, and just this massive hulking suit of armor.
Stinky. Stinky.
What the heck?
What the fuck was that?
What was that?
Who had a window open?
It's not on my fucking thing,
Not on
dude.
What the
mine.
hell? I mean, like, I was assuming that this is part of the
The
I
weird-
wish
part of the show.
I wish that I had something for that but I got nothing. How
What in the
was
world?
that?
Oh, you know what? That came from me. That was an ad. I had an ad play on a tab on the. Okay, well,
Oh, that was
autoplay.
creepy as hell, though.
yeah, that was weird.
Whew.
I don't know what it was
Autoplay.
What the
advertising.
hell kind
It-
of ad was that?
It ended before we could find it.
Says, who you calling Stinky?
Pat, Postman Pat.
Ah, I don't know.
Anyway,
Sorry about
no,
that.
it's fine.
Okay.
Happy
Wow,
Halloween,
that
everyone.
Reverse it.
And he just, and you can see like the eyes in Grimoire start to get like this glow, like it's almost like he's powering up a little bit. He always had like this sort of like this faint bluish glow to his eyes whenever he was awake, but now it's actually starting to like almost intensify a little bit. And you could see, so we said on his I believe we said on his actual helmet on his head, he has the symbol of the 4 that Thunic had fashioned, and it's actually starting to pulse a little bit as well towards Alexi as he's like locking in on Alexi.
Thunic is going to cast Detect Good and Evil.
Okay. And that again, I always forget how that freaking works.
So we flavored it, but
Yes.
a little bit. But for the duration, you know if there's an aberration, celestial, elemental, fey, fiend, or undead within 30 feet of you, as well as where the creature is located. Similarly, you know if there's a place or object within 30 feet of you that has been magically consecrated or desecrated.
Okay. Here, I just need to. All right.
This is not quite detect alignment or anything like that, but this is basically we've basically been
Yeah.
flavoring it with the
Mm,
a sort of crown motif.
mm, mm. So nothing's been consecrated or desecrated magically.
Mhm.
Not aberration. You're not picking up on anything celestial. Nothing elemental. So, with Grimoire, you like sort of naturally pick up on sort of like a fey flavoring, like artificial flavoring, like not naturally not naturally fey.
Not
Favoring?
Oh God, I can't make that pun.
Favoring.
No, I was about to say something really punny, and I had to stop myself.
Because it's just gone too far. The madness must stop.
Listen, enough madness has come out of my speakers for 1 week. Like, I don't want to add any more.
You do know that he was somehow adjacently involved with elves, based on where you found him on the little bit of like dungeon crawling that you did, where you found him in the crypts that are beneath Pinedale. So there is sort of like some Fey adjacent stuff happening there with him, so that could have something to do with just him being Warforged. But you also are detecting not quite, you're picking up on a similar hint of something, almost like an aftertaste from Alexi, but not to the point where it's like it's inverse, but not like, oh, this is bad and this is evil, but more like an altered form of this Fae. It's related but not. Um, I'm trying to think of where you could have had two different foods that are related, but they taste completely different. And you would never would have known they were related unless someone told you. I'm trying to think of an example of that because I'm sure it exists. But Grimoire starts to take another step towards Alexi. Drenmai, as you're working on Sir Silverton, all of a sudden he like perks up, and like the head like starts moving around, and he blinks out of your area, and he actually appears now right next to you, Eno, and he positions himself. So you guys are in the Silver Harrier, and all of a sudden Sir Silverton shows up. This horse-sized steel predator shows up, and he shows up and he like stops for a second, and you can see he kind of sniffs at Alexi a little bit. He does like the kind of like gets the snoot in there, does the sniffing, and then turns and then basically puts himself in between Grimoire and Alexi. And there's like sort of like a low, not threatening, but more of like a warning metallic growl that comes deep from within the can.
Can I roll a persuasion?
You can roll persuasion. It's Dungeons and Dragons.
Jesus Christ. I'm going to add a bardic inspiration to that. Oh, fucking A. All right, that was 2 2s.
Oh, no!
So that's a 9.
You persuade what? So what was it that you were attempting to do? So
I go, hey, it's the Electric Kitty. Listen, I really like this bar, and I don't want anything bad to happen to it. I know I've called it the wrong name a lot of times, and please forgive me. But listen, you were much better out there asleep. I don't know why you're in here seeming angry. Can we just calm down? This is my friend. I think it's my friend. It looks like my friend. He's fucked in the head. This happens sometimes. Listen, I have taken things that make me like this too sometimes. Listen.
Everybody experiments.
Spiders happen.
There's nothing wrong with that. But I don't, this can't happen. Please. Let's power down.
And with that magnificent roll of a 9, Grimoire kind of sinks almost into like a fighting position, like a fighting stance. And that is where we're going to end our game this week.
God damn it.
So, that is where we will draw this particular game to a close. So what we're going to do, my fine feathered friends, is we are going to take a brief break. That's our game for the week. I hope you understand what I'm getting at here. That's it. That's the whole story. There's no more Dungeons and Dragons. That's it. I mean, we're done playing. That was the whole story.
Game over.
Game over. It's gonna be kind of like Alf, where they just sort of end it with him being captured by the
Right.
CIA, and then that's it.
We're gonna play Star Wars next week then.
Yeah, we're gonna do something next week. We'll figure something
Okay.
out. But we are gonna come back in just a briefest of breaks, with some table talk. But for those of you that have to jet, we understand, and and it's fine. You go do your thing. You do you. But for those of you who like to stick around, we will be back with some table talk where we will be discussing favorite moments, nominations for Employee of the Week, and whatever other new business comes into our squirrely little minds. And we will be back right after this.
All right.
That was amazing. We are back with the table talk. Clues. You're the stream boss this week. You unseated the JD lady.
And Roz.
And Raz. That's
Oh.
right. Raz was stream boss for a minute. For the briefest of minutes. And then Clues took it from him and said, "No, I'm the boss. I'm the boss of you."
No, me.
You're not the boss of me now. You're not the boss of me now.
So we've had some suggestions for playing Dark Sun, where the world is less bleak. I don't know. We don't think we have a bleak world. Spelljammer or Spelljam Over. I guess that's text to that's autocorrect right there. Or Call of Cthulhu. I barely Call of Cthulhu. Eberron.
Yeah, I dig the Fate of the Norns system.
Eberron is truly an amazing system, or campaign. setting,
Tales
I
from
should
the
say.
Loop. Raz, yes, I absolutely want to try that. What I think now,
That's a fantastic game too. I really like Tales from the Loop.
Kids on Bikes, yeah. So throw this one on for size. What if at some point we did kind of like a sliders type situation with Team X, where it's basically the same character but in these different systems, but you have to all of a sudden now you're a kid, or now you're in Call of Cthulhu, and it's basically like where you do like the Elseworlds.
Are we aware that we are now in different universes, or are we just playing at different,
Or
the same
just
character?
also.
I don't know. Maybe we could go either way with that,
Yes.
because we could have some fun with that.
Hugon as a child would be insufferable.
I don't think there'd be too much of a change with Dren from now till child. Like, not much.
Just more of an appetite. She's even more food driven.
Eno would be a lot different.
Just a lot.
Yeah, Hugon
Anyway.
really only works because of the fact that he's this far into his life.
Or we throw another one on there. We do our Halloween game where the costume that we wear is a different system.
Oh, we have to guess who everyone is?
No. So we would say for whatever our Halloween game is, we'll do the Tales from the Loop game where it's still Thunuk and Drenmai and Eno and Hugon, but where it's just like a standalone game that just exists in that world. That's like the costume. The costume that. So I'll give you an example. I don't know if they still do it, but Fish on Halloween plays a Halloween show where they do basically they become a cover band and they cover one band the entire night, and that's their musical costume of the night.
Oh, that sounds cool.
Yeah.
That sounds pretty cool.
Vampire the Masquerade combined with Kids on the Bikes, call it Kids on the Blood. Now, what about Vampire the Masquerade versus Kids in the Hall? It's where everybody's head gets squished.
I don't.
These are the Daves I know. These are the Daves I know.
So I've had bad experiences with Vampire the Masquerade and really the whole World of Darkness system. So
Oh no, yeah.
I'm not terribly fond of it.
But I can
Not
also
saying it's a bad
see
system.
playing kids on bikes, but being monstrous kids on bikes, like being werewolves or
But
vampires.
baby werewolf and baby mummy and baby
Yeah. It's
like,
vampire.
Yeah, it's like
What was
Monster
that show?
Mash or
No,
Monster
what-
Prom or something, whatever it's
No,
called.
what was that show? There was
It's
actually
like the Monster Squad, but instead of like the villains and the heroes are just one set of characters. Have you ever seen the movie Monster Squad?
Oh yes, because it
so
has
those-
it has one of the greatest lines ever uttered in cinema history.
Yep.
Wolfman's got
Wolfman's got-
nards.
Yep. Monster. If for those who don't know, Monster Squad is basically kids on bikes versus the Universal Studios Hollywood classic monsters.
It
Uh,
scared the
Creature
crap
from-
out of me as a kid too.
The Wolfman, Creature from the Black Lagoon, Frankenstein's monster,
Dracula.
Dracula, the Mummy. They're all in this weird Indiana town for some reason, and it's the kids on bikes. Versus
Why
them.
does shit keep happening in Indiana?
I don't freaking know, man. It's how what is up with Indiana? This stuff keeps happening there. Is it like
I
a
mean,
hellmouth?
Have you listen? No.
Is
right.
it a hellmouth? The
Gideon,
entire
I
place.
want
you've,
you- I
Gideon,
want-
you've been to Indiana.
Yeah, I lived there for 27 years.
I lived
No,
there for
28
about
years.
6 months. There's something wrong with Indiana.
There is a special sort of gothic happening in Indiana.
And apparently Yu-Gi-Oh players also have an issue with meth.
Yeah, well, okay, Indiana in general has had some really aggressive problems with methamphetamines. Like, bad, not good.
Yeah.
But in terms of like the monsters being from Indiana, I mean,
Or the-
having lived there, I can
the-
understand like Creature from the Swamp because of all the pesticides in the water.
They're not from there. It's just for some reason they all come there.
They have to
Right,
go
I can
there.
understand. I can understand why they would like emerge in Indiana.
Oh,
I mean,
okay.
The
it's-
attraction.
it's
You can
an-
see the attraction.
The
Good.
cornfields hide great evil.
Yeah. So listen, great real estate values for their and from their standpoint, the school districts excellent.
There's a lot of well, maybe not a lot, but up until recently, there's been some urban decay, so I can definitely see
You have that.
vampires hanging out.
Just enough virgins left for whatever sacrifices need to happen.
Probably.
Hmm.
I don't know. It's a hard. I do suspect some sort of nexus existing.
Well, it is in Indianapolis. That's what's on the license plate, right? That's all roads go through Indianapolis. All right, so let's get to our moments of the game. We are going to start today in Quadrant 2, which
That's me.
the
Oh, yeah.
cleric.
I really liked Eno's song.
Yes,
That made me laugh an awful lot.
the
That
song
was
was
really
excellent.
good. The song was excellent.
The song was excellent.
Drenmai's insistence on being as much of a nuisance as possible. Once again, it has been missed.
From
not
Hugon's
by
standpoint,
Hugon.
not, but from a player
From-
standpoint,
From a player
absolutely.
standpoint.
We missed you last week.
I don't want it to seem like I didn't like your NPC, like as a person,
Mhm.
but like as a character, it's one of those characters that like if I read about them in a book, I would have to close the book, turn it cover side down, and not read it for a while, and mentally grasp and prepare myself the next time I had to pick that book up.
Oh, you're
that is
talking
the
about
experience.
Savat Loren.
Savat. And I think she's probably just in a really strange spot right now, and hopefully she'll mellow out.
Mm-hmm.
The narrator, she does not.
Yeah.
She will never marry.
But yeah, there's a lot of good moments.
Okay.
Today.
And so that okay, all right. So we have that. And is that your nomination for Employee of the Week? Eno. Okay.
Eno's nomination for Employee of
Eno,
the
Employee of the
Week.
Week. Okay. Of the week, and we shall go in an anti-clockwise motion to unwind the whole mechanism here that we started with, and go up to the goat.
Man. Tough. Learning that there is an entire town that is basically has a Drenmai Day.
I had blocked that out. And
I blacked that out of my existence.
yep. Now I know about it again.
I both I'm astonished and I love it, and I want to go to this town now. Employee, what are the requirements for Employee of the Week again? Is it a player character or
whatever we
non-player?
decide. It's fluid.
Okay. Your NPCs today have been pretty good. I really liked the dragon, but for some reason, I can't tell what's up with this home office employee. She bewilders me and Thuna because I don't get that level of dedication to something. My brain doesn't
Yeah.
comprehend it.
Zeal is a very strange emotion.
She's like
Yeah.
Team X otaku.
No,
Oh.
I don't.
No, thank
no.
you.
Mm-mm.
I was on board until then.
Super
I
fan.
don't- I don't want anyone to love me that much. That's really weird.
It's concerning. It is somewhat concerning.
Maybe not quite that far down the spectrum. I don't know. We'll have to see. We'll have to see how it plays out. Miss Dragon.
Let's see. I think I really liked just the visual of Thanuk taking this absolute beating, like verbal beating, and it's just like okay, have a good day. Like, it's so like if me or Dren was there, it'd be a complete different story. But just the next, just like zen, peace, calm. Like, holy shit.
Here, eat this.
Yeah.
It occurs to me that maybe Thunuk should have been like forewarned her ahead of time that this is probably gonna impact your calm.
Yeah. That's yeah. And I think if I had to pick like a second favorite moment, it's one that's not happened yet because I'm so looking forward to Hugon meeting his #1 fan.
Oh God.
I can't wait.
It's gonna be interesting.
It has to happen, right?
I feel bad for her for meeting her the idol of her fandom. I feel really bad.
Never
that
meet your heroes,
Hugon
kids.
Is going to be the individual that she encounters soon.
Oh, I can't wait. I'm very much looking forward to it.
And employee of the week? Any nominations?
Um,
We don't have to. We don't have to have an employee of the week. And just
No, if I had to, I like straight up thinking employee, I would vote for Hugon because he's doing the paperwork. He's doing this. Yeah, he's very much on.
he's
like,
the adult in the room.
He's actually being like a good employee. So I think I would have to pitch in Hugon there.
Well, because for every form he files, it expands his power base just a little bit more.
And also for every form that he files, her level just goes up one more because she gets more lore to read.
I feel a little bad playing a corporate villain. Like I feel a little gross about it. Hugon is not a hero.
You either die the hero or you live long enough to become the villain.
Yeah, except he never was the hero to begin with.
Mhm.
So really, at this point, it's you live the villain, you die the villain.
Mm-hmm. That's okay.
Except now he's just trading, blood and guts for contracts and proposals. They're still doing perhaps an incalculable amount of harm.
This is the
They're
guy
just
that
legal now.
This is the guy that retires from the military but starts his own military contracting firm.
Yeah, essentially he works for the DoD or like Raytheon or Northrop Grumman or
What was the other one? Blackwater, which is, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
How is just the name alone? It just sounds like it's coming out of every yeah, of course they're bad. They're called Blackwater.
I read a book about Eric Prince in high school. Wow.
And I would not be surprised if the organization was run by Xanatos. It's like
it's bad. I only learned later and after reflection and experience the level of bad. And that is basically the person that Hugon is becoming.
Well, we'll see.
It's not good.
The character arc isn't done yet.
Well, I mean, if the character arc doesn't end in him dead, I don't know if he'll have gotten what he deserved.
Well, it's fine though. This is all part of it.
I'm not mad. I'm just
just saying.
That might be the way the character ends up.
Raz.
I don't know what Xanatos is, so I googled it, and the first result is that it's a grocery store.
What?
So
David Xanatos was a villain from the show Gargoyles, played by Jonathan Frakes.
I probably didn't spell it right.
Xanatos.
Yeah, I spelled it with a Z.
David Xanatos.
No, you pulled up. So what you probably pulled up? What came up was probably Zagaras, which is it used to be oh no.
Xanatos.
Oh.
Xanatos.
No.
Anyway, so I think that the new employee is the most stressful character I've ever heard in my entire life. So kudos to the DM.
Thank you.
Very well played. The interaction with the dragon and Dren and making a pact with the dragon when Hugon isn't there, and the fallout that may happen is a huge anticipation, and
Link check to a dragon.
that's probably a good highlight. Employee of the week. I think I would have to throw it over to Hugon as well, because he's doing his job, and I'm and I've been eating and drinking and trying to figure out what the hell's wrong with my friend the whole time. But yeah, and the fact that I actually wrote stuff down as I've been playing, and I'm able to go back and like remember these things and throw them back out is really, really fun. I'm having a really good time with that. I don't know what's
Throwbacks are
going on
always
over
good.
there. But yeah, so yeah.
Well, with 2 votes, congratulations, Hugon. You're Employee of the Week.
There you go.
Yeah. Okay.
So that happened.
I mean, like,
Whatever.
I'm appreciative for the votes of confidence. That's not my issue. It's just like, again, Hugo's being rewarded for being bad, for not
just
being a good person.
reinforcing the behavior.
Yeah. But it's okay.
So I put a few notes for the things that really stood out, that were fun. One, the whole pants thing.
Pants.
That was good. I liked that.
Right.
Pants. We got into a little pun war around 6:00 tonight, and I think that might have been with the gnomes, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
I think that was just kind of fun, the fun wordplay. Again, when we got a little bit, all the puns that came along with eating the Hugon was.
Oh wow.
I did enjoy the fact that it was relatively easy to get Dren to agree to that deal. The whole.
Yeah.
Okay, Eno's song absolutely will always be on that list, because whenever there's a song, it's always killer. So well done, my friend. That's always. Was that like on the spot?
Yeah.
That was fucking amazing.
Thank you.
The random ad that played in the middle of the game was spooky as hell. So that was.
I have no. The problem is like I had my computer like, I was looking up D&D stuff, right? I was looking up some Battlemaster stuff, like, because you know how last session we combined Know Your Enemy with the Obviator stuff, and I was just like looking at other things, and so I went to I went back to looking at Twitch and things like that, and just I have no idea where it came from. It ended before I could find it. I was like, what the absolute hell?
What fresh hell
just
is this?
happened?
But I think my favorite moment of the game was seeing all the other players' expressions when we talked about the Drenmai statue and Dren Day. Because there were questions. I think just everyone's expressions was my favorite moment of that.
I frowned a lot. I have a headache from frowning a lot.
He's almost 400 years old, so there's been some stuff that's gone on.
I mean, in character frowning.
Character
frowning.
But yeah, I think it was overall a fun day. I even had the dragon's name written down, but no one asked what his name was.
No, I don't need to get that personal with the dragon. I'm already stealing his blood.
He already can summon you from beyond the grave with the use of your true name, so just keep that in mind.
Yep.
I will admit that I cribbed that off of the Dresden Files, not the show, the book series. And so one of the things in there is, kind of a typical thing with, is that if you know a creature's true name, that you can indeed gain power over them. And a deal that Dresden makes, I think even in the first book with a demon, is to get the information he needs, he has to give up another one of his names. So Harry Dresden's name is Harry... I forget the middle name. Copperfield. It's Harry Copperfield, Houdini Dresden or something like that, named after all these, and the demon that he's dealing with already, and you have to hear the person pronounce their own name, because that's just knowing what their full name is doesn't count. You have to hear how they say it. It's like that, that deep personal connection, and he's already given up Harry, whatever the middle name is, and like he given up a third. He's like getting close to this demon, knowing his full name, like his full true name. And I'm waiting for Jim Butcher to pull that trigger 20 books later, where all of a sudden, but in one scene in like the second or third, I think it was like the second or third book, he encounters a dragon in human form, which in this universe are incredibly, incredibly powerful creatures. And he introduces himself and says, "My name is Harry Dresden." And this dragon says Harry's just those two words, Harry Dresden, and nearly knocks Harry to the floor with the sheer force of will that he's able to put behind it, just knowing two of his names. So I thought that I completely cribbed that off of that.
Yeah, there's actually back in 3.5 there was a whole it was not very well executed, but it was this whole subset of rules surrounding true speak and true names, and even R.A. Salvatore delved into the true name stuff a little bit, because there was a particular demon, I think, who like learned someone's true name or had access to someone's true name, but like couldn't like remember it or something like that, and that like played an entire role. But one of the ways to bind demons in 3.5 with planar binding was a whole really complex process, but knowing the true name of a demon was the most surefire way to securely bind it and make it so that it could not refuse or wiggle out of a contract.
Like, no, that's it. You got it. It's
got
it.
you. So they very jealously guarded their true names and had a tendency to kill people who learned them.
I can understand why. I can definitely understand why. So, while we have a few minutes left before we wrap up, any new business that needs to be discussed? Any suggestions? Any recommendations?
Nothing is occurring to me at the present moment.
Bless you,
Bless you.
proto-human.
Bless you, Alex.
I'm giving his specials back.
I've been on a musical kick of Chap Hop. If anyone wants to give that a go, it's quite fun.
Interesting.
Yeah.
It's a thing.
I don't think I've
It's a
been
thing.
watching or reading anything super special. Play the Untitled Goose Game.
Oh man, I am such a jerk when I play that game.
I love that game so much. You could be such an asshole.
She heard me playing it, and I heard me shouting at the kid, "Eat it, 4 eyes," when it finished. Fall on the ground.
Oh my God.
Eat it. Oh,
Yeah.
you turn into like the complete asshole. It's great. It's
Yeah.
it's a glorious game.
The entire purpose is to treat all these human beings in this town like absolute garbage and destroy their lives. And yeah,
It's great.
And the humans are trying to thwart you because you're an ill-tempered goose. And yeah.
And you can honk.
Huh. My dad got bit by a goose once. He was stealing
Yeah.
parts. He was stealing parts from a junkyard when he was a kid.
My father had one rule about BB guns, and it was to not shoot them at things that were alive or the house. And
windows.
yeah, don't do that. Those things are bad, and you shouldn't do them. He hates Canadian geese so much that he made an active exception.
Except for these goddamn things.
Except for these things, yeah, essentially. They were not to be allowed on the pond, so to speak.
Removed with extreme prejudice.
Geese suck.
All right. Well, we are running out of time. It is time to wrap things up on yet another Sunday of Team X. What do we have this week? Goat, what do we have on Late to the Game?
Banner Saga 2, and some more Captain Toad Treasure Tracker.
Excellent.
Nice.
On Thursday, a new episode of Vikings and Saints airs. And this week, this episode is the first one with Danny Hartel.
Nice.
And
Nice,
cheese.
nice. Cheese.
And I'm not gonna lie, there were some inappropriate noises being made on this stream as we consumed a lot of cheese.
We had an idea what we were going to talk about, and that just sort of fell to the wayside when we just started putting cheese in our mouths.
It was the greatest
okay,
day.
you know what?
Yeah, cheese.
Sometimes cheese does that. I think it's like
It was amazing.
catnip for white people.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's not. You're not wrong.
It was awesome. And then, unsurprisingly, next week we will be back with an all-new episode of
Team X.
Team X. Yeah, that thing that we do on Sundays. And we'll be back and we'll find out what happens now with this Mexican standoff that we have with these constructs and some squishy creatures in between.
I'm gonna die. Probably.
That is entirely possible.
It's not beyond the realm of possibility. But I hope it won't, because then we won't get to continue telling the story. But anyway, folks, hydrate, eat your greens, don't be a dick. We'll see you next week.
Yep.
Life advice. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.